What's up, guys?
Yo.
First, second, and third. No worries with the lurk, Masta. Get after it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you lurking and being a lurker. Normally, I don't call out lurkers, but you typed in chat that you were lurking. So thank you for being here. I remember when you showed up and said you were lurking the first time. So very cool of you. Stevie Ray Adder. Love it that you guys are here too. I was looking at how many comments or like chat messages have been typed by account because I was trying to figure out. I was like, wait, isn't Masta like new or whatever? And I clicked, and Adder's got like over 1,000 messages typed in our chat, which is fantastic. No, dude, Adder got first today. Brightside, also, what's up, brother? Brightside also has over 1,000 messages. Stevie, you are slacking. You're only at 300. Like, for real, you're only at 300, which I would say is probably a lot. I feel like we became friends, what, like 2 months ago or something like that, so. No, it's okay. It's okay. You're good. You're good. Just type one word at a time. Actually, don't do that. Automod might get you. Adder, that dirty dog. Yes, sir. Yeah, so, I don't know. I'm kind of out of it today. So, guys, if you remember, my homework assignment was to watch True Detective Season 1. Done. I watched all of it. Literally watched the whole fucking thing yesterday. I finished at like 1 a.m. Yeah, I watched all of Season 1. That's how
he gets on this morning. I'm like, so how many episodes did you get? And he's like, oh, I'm done. Like, oh, okay.
Okay, so I brought it up because I did want to talk about it. I liked it. I thought it was great television. Really good show. I have a couple pieces of criticism. I think it was more drama focused, which isn't as much. It's not as interesting to me. Like, and what I mean is Chapelwaite as a good example. That seemed like it was like a Victorian drama for the first episode or two, and then it just takes this fucking wild turn, and it becomes this like really interesting Lovecraftian horror thing, and there's so much more going on than you think. That's not to say that True Detective Season 1 didn't have that. It definitely did. But like, I think Woody Harrelson's character Marty was like not super believable to me because it's Woody Harrelson and he's like scooping all the baddies in fucking small town Louisiana, and I was like, what is happening here? And then oh wait, what happened, Tony? Brightness on the map. I got you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, they were just saying like they can't see shit on the stream, and I'm trying to just. It looks a little more on that monitor the way it looks on this one to me now. So
yeah, it looks a lot better. Yesterday was really, really dark and very hard for me to see. Okay, so yes, I really like the arcane weird shit. I loved the continual references to the Yellow King and like paying it off with Carcosa and like just the pure madness that was rooted in like evangelical church in the area. I thought that was very, very cool. They didn't do a great job of reminding me, like, even though I watched the whole fucking thing yesterday, they didn't do a good job of making me remember that Rust has synesthesia. And it's not just like he has visual and auditory and sensory hallucinations because of the way he perceives reality. And that, like, I would forget, and then something would happen. I'd be like, oh, that didn't really happen. Only Rust saw it. So I was like, okay. So, like, you know, spoilers, but sorry, the show's old as fuck at this point. I'm the last person who's probably seen it. But like at the very end when he's in that like underground dome structure and he's facing off with Childress or whatever the fuck, he imagines like eternity by the idol of the King in Yellow, and I was like, wait, did he actually see that? And then I remembered, I was like, no, he has synesthesia, so he probably like really did see it, but no one else would have seen that. And so I was like, I kept forgetting. And they got wrapped up in all this drama around Woody Harrelson's character development, Marty's character development. He keeps making the dumbest fucking decisions. Like, why would he cheat on his gorgeous wife with, you know, he's got 2 kids, like all of that. Why would he continually fucking do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm just speaking in terms of reality, in terms of writing and developing those characters to make them be perfect juxtapositions of each other, where Woody Harrelson on the surface is like a very good person. You know, he's got all his shit together, but he hides all this like really bad behavior that he has. You know, drinking and you know, sleeping around and you know, being unfaithful and not spending enough time with his family. Rust has the exact opposite problem, where on the surface he's very abrasive and people don't get along with him well, and he appears to be insane and just troublesome, but he's also very smart and very good at his job, so people forgive him for that. But as people get to know him, they're like, oh shit, no, he's actually like a really fucking good person, and he doesn't do this stuff because he's motivated by, you know, faith or social pressure or anything. He just genuinely believes in doing the right thing. So those two characters next to each other, perfect juxtaposition. I think it got into the weeds a few times with some of the plot points and just, you know, selling the drama aspects of it. I do wish there was more of the arcane, you know, eldritch knowledge stuff going on. I know it's a true crime show, so it makes sense to have like these really horrible crimes happening. It was pretty dark and heavy. I would compare it mood wise to like Breaking Bad, which I thought was fine. But yeah, it was a great show. It was really good. Oh, another thing I noticed: almost every single scene, everyone in the scene, or at least one person in the scene, is drinking alcohol and smoking a cigarette. Every fucking scene in the entire show. It's really weird, but I noticed it. Because, you know, I have friends who struggle with those things, and they were like, yeah, I can't watch that because it's just fucking triggers me. It makes me want to drink all the time. And I'm like, really? And then I started watching it and I was like, oh shit. And especially with Sober October. So yeah, you know, I watched it yesterday completely sober, and I was like, man, this makes me really want to fucking drink some beer, or like have a whiskey, right? And while everyone was smoking, I was like, all right, good thing I got Zins and I didn't take those off the table, because I was like, this is making me want nicotine constantly. So, but otherwise, very good show. I think for me, it was probably a little overhyped because everybody, you know, who loves the show probably watched it in the time frame that you're supposed to watch it in, and I watched it 10 years too late, right? So there was just a lot of opinion carrying my expectations of it, which is on me, I think, for having very high expectations of the show before I watched it. Still great. Really enjoyed it.
I was thinking that when you were telling me that earlier, that like, especially when it came out, I feel like it, you know, was really swinging above most of the contemporaries of its time, you know, in a big way. A lot of really good TV has come out in the period of time since then. So it's possible that, you know, it just has a lot more competition now than it did way back when.
Yeah, sorry, Adder. Yeah, I was talking about True Detective season 1. I watched it all yesterday, so I did my homework. I'm caught up. There's a couple of other things I want to watch. I think I'm going to watch Vivarium today, Stevie. I looked at the trailer for that. I don't really care for the what's his fucking name, the lead, Jesse Eisenberg, I think, but it'll be okay. I'll get through it. I really liked him in Zombieland, but I didn't like him in Social Network. I don't like him in other stuff. He always plays like a Michael Cera type of character, so I'm hoping he'll be okay in Vivarium. But I was really fucking with the idea of Vivarium, and I think it has a lot of parallels to Dread, so it's probably good to watch anyway. The big takeaway for me with True Detective season 1 and Dread is I loved at the very end where Rust is like recovering, you know, he's convalescing in the hospital, and he's talking to Marty, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what the context was, but he was like, there's only the one, you know, one story, the oldest story, and it's light versus darkness. And I was like, I kind of fuck with that. I think I want to put like a happy ending in Dread. So I'm still noodling on how that all comes about and what it means, but I think if we leave it in a hopeful mood at the very end, I think it'll have a very nice, like, good payoff. I think the bleak and depressing ending is probably easier to do because then you don't have to plan for it as a writer. You just fucking end it, and then people are like, wait, what? What do you mean? Why is it going like this? And it leaves you sitting with those unresolved feelings, which is a way you can do that. But I like putting a bow on stuff, so we'll see where it goes. I'm crazy with the happy ending. So when I say a happy ending, I think True Detective season 1 had a happy ending, which is weird to say, but that's what I mean. It was still very bleak, very depressing, very negative. people went to the hospital. You thought they were gonna fucking die. Like no one else like really gets out well, but they like resolved that. Everything just tied up really well. So, the whole thing with King in Yellow is losing sanity and hallucinating things after reading the play, so the synesthesia is interesting. Yeah, one of the other things I was checking out yesterday was there's a YouTuber named Wendigoon who does a lot of horror movie breakdowns and stuff, and he has like a 4-hour video on the King in Yellow. I got maybe 40 minutes into it, but I started to understand a lot of the themes and like the ideas of what they're going for with the King in Yellow. So I think there's a way to do it with this it's almost like a mind virus, which is like a turn of phrase that we use now, like, politically, socially, whatever. But the King in Yellow is like a mind virus. And I think there's a way to make that work where like ideas infect the way you think about things and perceive reality. So I think that is a really strong takeaway for me for Dread. Definitely gets into the weeds, but I do think it helped with these with those that need those elements spoon-fed and give them excuses for nice cinematography. Yeah, exactly, Adder. I would see that it's not like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, where I think that's like a movie for stupid people. It's more like it's a more approachable story when they get into the weeds with those details, right? Like, so I would not say True Detective is a show for stupid people at all. It's very cerebral and there's like really deep concepts. So
I always just assumed Dave Franco really liked monkeys.
Yeah, man. Reject modernity, return to monkey. I do think
the good news about True Detective is that apparently the rest of the seasons are not good, and I've never watched them. So you only have to watch the first one.
That's what I've heard too. I've heard like season 2 was okay, but it was nowhere near as good as the first one, and none of the other ones are good.
Yep.
Oh, Stevie liked the other ones. Well, do you like true crime stuff, Stevie? Because I would bet that's why you like it. It's, you're into like the detective story and all that.
I'm sure the question is generally, is it as good as season 1? And a lot of people just go no, and then it's like, all right, I'm not interested, which is like probably not quite fair, but I get it.
Adder, talk to me about happy ending and what you don't like about it, because I genuinely want to know your thoughts. I'm not a horror content consumer typically, so tell me, like, advocate for the bleak ending. Tell me what you think and like what are the benefits of that, right? Like, tell me what you think about that. I have some heavy critique of Vivarium, but I will hold it until you watch it. Okay, bet. I will watch it tonight. I'm pretty sure it was on Prime Video, so it's easy for me to watch. So we saw it there. I'll probably watch it during like Brightside's Beat Off if he's doing that tonight. I use the same name for an EP and then watch the movie. Vivarium? Okay, Brightside's vouching too. Sick. Mind virus equals cognito hazard. Yes. Yes, it does. Cognito hazard was something that Wendigoon was talking about a lot. Yeah, and I totally understood what it meant, and they probably want to avoid using the term mind virus because I'm sure that gets tagged by like an algorithm that's checking for fucking conservative perspectives or something. You can't say that shit nowadays without having a specific connotation, but that's not what I mean at all. Let's see. S3 started very strong and fell off really hard, says Adder. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna avoid it. I'm not.
I did hear like people saying season 3 was better than season 2, but still not that good. But
yeah, Stevie, that's exactly the vibe I'm going for. For me, as a horror, like when I'm watching a horror thing, entertainment that's horrifying, I need a palate cleanse at the end, exactly the way you put it. The sunrise after the bloodbath. That's what I need. Like Sinners had that, it had that like really nice moment where like things were still not great. Shit was fucking bad, but they had a resolution and they were going to carry on and deal with all the evil in the world. And for me, I like that kind of messaging in art that I make, because the human experience is bleak enough as it is. And if you remind people how fucking real shit is, it's, I don't know. Like, did you give them anything good when you made that art? Right? Like, I don't know. I think it's a matter of personal opinion, but yeah, I'm willing to hear you out, Adder. Oh, okay, cool. I think you cleared it up. Happy ending is a strong word describing what. Yeah. I will do that. I can speak in absolutes, and what I don't mean is the literal definition of an absolute. I'm being hyperbolic, and I just do that all the time. So I'm not going to be like, yeah, I wouldn't want to end a horror game with like a really feel good ending. I want it to be like, oh man, we made it through that, and you get that sigh of relief, but you still don't feel great, right? Like, I love that shit. Like, Alex Garland films do that a lot. Not in a horrifying way, but like, I find that when I watched Sunshine or I watched Annihilation, the end of it had me just fucking brooding. You know, I was like just fucking thinking. I was very pensive, I guess, just kind of uneasily like wondering about things. And I love when art makes me feel that way, and it just sits with me and I keep thinking about stuff. Not spinning around on like a moment of anxiety or fear or terror or something like that, but like, god damn, like that. And now I'm thinking about shit in a different way. I love that. Season 1 was unbeatable. The vibe of that season was so cohesive. The other seasons had a bit of whiplash with their vibes. Taking Vince Vaughn seriously. Yeah, dude, Vince Vaughn isn't it? Yo.
Yeah, I think the second season is Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn.
I like both of them. I kind of want to watch that now. But to be fair, I really only like Colin Farrell because of In Bruges. His character in Bruges is so fucking funny, man. I know he's not supposed to be funny, but that shit makes me laugh so hard. And Donald Logue is like, man, I got to do some shit, but like, you're making it real hard for me because you're just a goofball, wacky apprentice assassin, you know? Sorry, if you guys haven't seen In Bruges, it's a wonderful movie, really, really good. I would say in similar veins as True Detective, but it's a movie, right? Like, it has very dark and heavy elements. It's just a good movie, really good. Hi, Faith. We're talking about movies and stuff while Tony is doing procedural generation. Oh, did we have houses yesterday?
Probably not. We're not
we
gonna
have houses
these for
now.
Long, these are pretty problematic, but yeah, we slapped them into the neighborhood generator. There, each one is like a level instance, and it's a lot. So I'm gonna put something else together here today, and then I gotta try to figure out a system where, you know, the player can technically only ever get to about where this box is, and so everything beyond there can be more fake than everything before here. And then I would kind of imagine that everything beyond about right here, if they have to stop there, can be very fake. And then I don't think you can really even see anything beyond about right here. So we might just put like cubes or something. I don't know. Gonna work on something like that though.
Sweet. Dread's going really well, Faith. Rachel McAdams is from The Notebook, which I assume you've seen, Faith, and if you haven't seen The Notebook, shame on you. Let's see. Singular House. So, okay, this actually, I was considering this after I watched the trailer for Vivarium, because I think Tony got the houses into the PCG seed after stream yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. And then I watched the trailer for Vivarium, and Vivarium actually looks like this. It's like all the same house, all the same color, and they have this Lost Woods component to it where like they're like, this is fucked up. We don't want to buy this house, and they try to leave the neighborhood, but they keep ending up back where they started, back in front of house number 9, which they were told that they should go into and buy and live in. And so they can't get out. And that I thought was really, really interesting. Adder says Sinners was overhyped, but the key beats were fun. I agree. My biggest beef with Sinners was that Michael B. Jordan played twins named Smoke and Stack. Like, I thought that was so fucking corny. I don't know why they did that. It was just so stupid.
I mean, it was better than like Adam Sandler playing his own sister.
No, dude, I'm about that. I always forget about Jack and Jill.
He's
and
the
I
Jack
really
and
wanna...
Jill apologist over here.
Adam Sandler could do no wrong in my eyes, but he's done a lot of wrong, I will admit. Yeah, exactly, Adder. The sunrise after the bloodbath nails it, but it doesn't mean it has to be happy. Yeah, and I didn't mean literally happy, where you're like, yeah, this is cool. You know, like a Disney film. No, it's not like that. I really don't want to do that. Stevie, what's Rachel McAdams in? Is she in True Detective? Is that what you're talking about? Or In Bruges? Because I don't remember her being in Bruges. I just remember Donald Logan, Colin Farrell. Faith was asking about Enchanted. No, that's what's the ginger chick's name? Damn it.
I mean, I would have said Rachel McAdams if you said
Amy Adams.
Chick's name. Oh, okay. There
Amy
you go.
Adams. Yeah.
See, I don't even know people's names. There you go.
Oh shit. Okay, she's in True Detective season 2. I mean, I like Rachel McAdams. I think she's definitely a good actress, but I don't know that she has a whole lot of range. If you guys were around yesterday, I was talking about Extant with Halle Berry. I realized that I think Halle Berry is actually just a horrible actress. She has zero range. Everything is the same intonation. She can just cry in scenes, but otherwise she's just really pretty. And I think that's why she's in a lot of stuff. No, you're not wrong, Faith. Like, it's like Amy Adams and Rachel McAdams. I could see very easy to mix that up.
I literally just did. So.
Okay, bright side, I was mad at Happy Gilmore 2 for like the first 30 minutes, and then I was on board, and I loved it. Because I thought it was just too much like, hey, remember that in this movie? It's like, yes, motherfucker, I do. And then it was just like, we're doing new stuff. Like, I loved Shooter's entire character arc. It was fucking great. I saw The Notebook once when I was 12, and I'm going to be real, I don't remember it well at all. Dude, watch it again. It's like hopeless romantic staple. You gotta watch that shit. It's so fucking good. You should watch it with someone you're very, very into and care about. But to be fair, it could be a bit heavy for a dude because it's a chick movie, 100%. Noted. The Notebook. Watch it with your cats. Exactly. Yeah. Sharp objects. I feel like I've seen like Sharp Objects. I think it like pops up for me as recommended often. Yeah, totally. I haven't watched it, but you're saying that's good? Okay, cool. I'll check it out. If Stevie's like, that was so fucking crazy. Well, wait, I have to stay focused on psychological horror right now, guys. I really need to like absorb the genre so I understand what we're making. And I need psychological horror and like Lovecraftian stuff. I need those mixed together. Since we're on that, have you guys seen Lovecraft Country? Because I fucking loved that. That shit was so good. Very, very upsetting in many ways because of like all of the subject matter in it, but wonderful show. It's not supernatural, it's psychological. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down. Lovecraft Country was fantastic. Really, really good story. Where am I? I was trying to read something else I wanted to respond to. Talk to me? Oh, let's find out. Yeah, what do you guys think? Oh, Get Out, I think, is like a perfect example of psychological horror, for sure. And I would say like Lovecraft Country is somewhat Get Out adjacent because of like the material they discuss. Yeah, dude, me too. I definitely wanted more from the ending. I'm pretty sure it got canceled. That's why we didn't get another season. And then they did like the Watchmen series after that, which was like kind of the same for that platform in terms of like, you know, the socio-political content. I think Lovecraft really scares people, and that's probably why, because it like, I realized one of the things that doesn't bother me about psychological horror is the concept of cosmic indifference, meaning like all human wants, desires, and are irrelevant, and the universe operates according to a set of rules. Like it's basically just science and atheism, and that scares the shit out of people. So I think maybe that's the big turnoff for any Lovecraftian thing, or maybe it was too occult, and religious people were like, I don't want to watch this because it deals with too much occultism. Okay, so sharp objects. I would even kind of consider A Beautiful Mind to be psychological horror in some ways. Because, like, schizophrenia is fucking wild, you know? Pushed a lot of buttons. I wasn't surprised to not see a season 2. Yeah. Yep. It was very charged in certain ways from certain perspectives. I'm intentionally avoiding words, not to be vague for you guys, but because I don't want to get algorithm bopped by anything because of a word I say. Truman Show, dude. Okay, bright side. Real. I often will just be like, fuck, dude, am I in the Truman Show? Like, all the time. And I know that's an insane thing to say, but yeah, I definitely be feeling like that. And it freaks me out. I do think, for what it's worth, though, Adder, Lovecraft Country finished on like a really solid note. Like, it tied up a lot of things. So they left a little room to keep going with it, but I think it was pretty solidly finished. I definitely did want more. I wanted more like cool, compelling, eldritch horror, elder gods, weird shit. They probably could have done that with fewer social issues, but I think it's also important to know that, like, if you guys have ever read any of H.P. Lovecraft's stuff, it was written at a different time. It's over 100 years old. Is it over 100 years old? Yeah, it's over 100 years old. A lot of his work, in being that old, the world was very different, and people spoke in different ways. Like, the best examples I can give of that kind of a thing are the reasons why Brave New World is a banned book for both sides of the political spectrum, but for very different reasons. Aldous Huxley, the way he talks about people alarms, progressive interests. The way he talks about liberty and self-actualization and like freedom of thought is why the right doesn't like it. So it's, obviously something is going to be really good if it has very opposing viewpoints, in either direction, and both sides don't like it and want to get rid of it. Yeah, you're right, Adder. There were definitely like subplots that didn't get tied off in a nice bow. Maybe that's why I'm saying that about Dread. I really want to tie it up in a nice bow. Let's see. Okay, that's that. That's over there. Brightside, you're doing the beat challenge today? Dude, I've seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and that shit was great. Very, very horrifying movie. I don't know that I want to watch it again. I got a lot out of it. That was Numi Rapace, right? She played the central character. I might not be remembering this right. Daniel Craig. No, it was Rooney Mara. Wait. Am I thinking of like the OG version? Yeah, I'm not talking about the 2021 version. Yeah, maybe it's the 2011 film. Rooney Mara? Yeah, I think that's the one that I saw. Because when I saw it, it was before there was like the whole book craze and everything. I've always watched a lot of movies. And like I've told you guys before, if I'm playing a video game, I'll like have a show on at the same time because there's not enough time in a single human life to consume all that stuff. Yeah, it's all good, Brightside. Yeah, okay, Stevie, I did see the original version then. I absolutely saw the original in Numi Rapace. In Swedish. Yep. And that I loved that. I thought it was really, really good. I have not seen the one with Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara at all. The Swedish one was, oh boy. There was some shit in that I was like, can you do that in a movie? What the fuck? They also had one of the best edited trailers of all time for the Fincher one. It's funny because as I Googled the girl with the dragon tattoo and saw the Fincher one, I see a Reddit post that says it is titled, "The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo 2011 is quite possibly the most boring and unfocused movie I've ever seen." Good job, Reddit. Good fucking job. That's a crazy take on that story. They also had one of the best. Yeah, never mind. Sorry, I just read that. I mentioned it yesterday, but have you heard of Martyrs? Dude, so I started looking at Martyrs. I don't think I can watch that. It might be like way too spooky for me. And the thing that made me realize that was I was watching, like I was saying, I was looking at Wendigoon's stuff yesterday too. And he was doing the horror iceberg, which there's like 8 tiers of. And there are certain movies at tier 3 that I know I'll never watch. And Martyrs was in tier 3. And I was like, I don't think I can see that. And the best example I can give, and I think I was saying it yesterday, is like the scene in Irreversible with the fire extinguisher. I had to turn the movie off. It was just too, like, that kind of gore and violence is just so much. It really fucked me up. So like gore bothers me, violence bothers me, but like deeply unsettling psychological stuff for some reason doesn't bother me. I don't know why. Or like supernatural horrors like vampires and zombies, they don't bother me. Werewolves, I don't really care about that. Werewolf stuff tends to be very gory. Same with vampires, but vampires are, I think Turning Cog put it, like they're just disguised romance stories or something like that. And then like Alien doesn't bother me, like sci-fi horror doesn't bother me really. Yeah, I've already been warned, Steve. I'm not gonna watch Hereditary. I've definitely been warned by a friend of mine who's like really into horror films, was like, it's a great movie, but I think it would fuck you up real bad. Don't watch it. American Horror Story series? No. But Tony, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen, I think, all of the American Horror Stories. Yep.
I don't think I can do those, Adder. But
they're kind of like unserious at a point. Like, I don't know. Some of them are like very classic horror and like kind of difficult to watch, but like a majority of it is kind of like becomes not scary at a point. Like almost every season kind of devolves into that eventually, and I don't know. It's different than what you expect. It's not like actually scary. It's hard to explain.
Okay. Do you think if there's any episodes that you guys know of that are Lovecraftian or psychological horror adjacent, tell me which episodes and I'll check those out. I was just thinking a good example.
I don't think any of it is like.
It's not that deep. It's like traditional horror.
It's just, yeah, and it's just like not that deep a lot of the time.
I got you. So like like slasher film type stuff or something like that.
Yeah, or like or more classic like monster movies and like I don't know. Yeah,
they're pretty decent. Some are hit or miss. But if you go into it open-minded, they can be fun for world building and storytelling. Everything but the Roanoke seasons are pretty chill.
Yeah, and like I said, I've watched all of them and I generally enjoyed it, but I don't think they're like the best example ever of like really good horror. I think they're just kind of like an interesting TV show.
I know that
the Roanoke one was okay too. The only one that I remembered really not liking was the like weird political cult one that was kind of like The Purge a little bit.
I might be confusing with my like caveats here on like what I can or can't watch. And I think the best example I can give you guys is there's a Love, Death, and Robots where this like starship captain makes the wrong jump and ends up in this like asteroid field stranded in the middle of nothing. And there's this giant like alien spider creature. So he's basically like trapped in the web, and it has him. It's like barely sustaining his life. And I think it's
very much sustaining his life, but
I couldn't tell if it was eating him or not. In like, tricking him into the illusions that he dies peacefully while it consumes him, or if it was actually sad and like trying to sustain his life.
I kind of thought it was like in love with him, and he's like, I don't want to bang the spider lady.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So like, the thing that I'm saying about that is that shit didn't bother me whatsoever, and I thought it was a very like touching and beautiful story that there was an alien that was like, and he's like, no, send me back into the fucking nightmare or the dream, because reality is a nightmare. And I thought that was really cool. That didn't bother me at all. So I'm a weirdo in that regard. I think I need hope. I need like positivity and hope in the face of like bleak horror, I guess. Also, gore. Ultra gore, I can't do. Like body horror stuff, nah, that ain't for me. Okay, Roanoke was pretty spooky. I mean, now I wanna see the Roanoke one because I know about the Roanoke colony. But if you're saying it's like spooky because
again, it's just like it's not that deep. Like they definitely like put a spin on like a lot of classic horror stories and like kind of maybe try to weave them into there's like a little bit of like interconnected storytelling and lore between the seasons that like ends up some characters come back and there's some crossover and stuff. But like
I gotcha.
I don't know. Yeah, Kathy Bates is in the Roanoke season, and I love Kathy Bates, and she's really good in that. And she's like the bad guy or whatever. So
so
for that. But
Adder's saying he was a little disappointed because it isn't that deep. And he was like, they whiffed it and they leaned into classic horror instead of making it like, okay,
it has a lot of potential in almost every season of it, I would say, to like go deeper and like do something interesting, and it just like rarely does, unfortunately. But
yeah, I need the depth. That's what really like trips my trigger for that stuff, and that helps me get through it.
It's very like easier to consume. You could kind of throw it on in the background and like it's entertaining, but like I don't know, it's not True Detective season 1 or anything of that caliber.
Okay, all right, cool. I just like the colony, the lost colony of Roanoke, and like the weird mystery surrounding it. That's why I was like, ooh, that could be cool.
Yeah. No, this is more like these people buy a cabin, like a house in the woods on the East Coast. That's presumably in that area, I guess. And it's maybe like an interracial couple. I think that plays into it a little bit. But then like Roanoke ghosts start showing up and doing some shit. Like that's the story.
Like carving Croatoan into your forehead.
There's a Croatoan. At one point, they draw and quarter a guy. That's like the big kill scene in that season. That's pretty, really disgusting. Like that's one of the more disturbing kills in American Horror Story, in my opinion. But
I don't think I could do that then.
Yeah.
All right, I might avoid it.
There's a carnival one where like this magician guy is like gonna saw his assistant in half, but he actually does. That one is really, really disgusting too. I think it's Emma Roberts that's getting sawed in half, pretty sure.
Emma Roberts. Oh, okay. What the fuck was she in? Yeah, she's definitely an American Horror Story. You got that right, Tony.
And then the last season of American Horror Story. Okay, actually, I will caveat that it's all pretty good. With the last season was pretty stupid, and it's the one that has Kim Kardashian in it, and that was like their big advertising beat, was like Kim Kardashian's in it. But it's like retelling some book about like this girl who like sells her soul to be famous or something, but they do a really bad job of it, and it was like broken up over 2 seasons, and like the ending was very abrupt and not good. I don't know. It just that's the only one I probably wouldn't recommend to people. It's the most recent.
Adder's a hater. He said that season.
Yeah, no, it was really bad. It was very unfortunate.
Okay, so on the docket, Vivarium. Let me look at my list real quick. Let's go through this thing and then there. Okay, what about It Follows? I'm pretty sure that was suggested by a couple of you guys. Found Footage 3 from Kane Pixels. It Follows is so good. Yeah, I'd rather watch like a full production film. What is Found Footage 3 like a YouTube channel or something? I have trouble watching some YouTube stuff. Oh, I do trust you. I'll watch It Follows. I'm pretty sure someone else suggested it too. I think Anime might have suggested it. It's one video and it's so masterfully done. Okay. But if it's a YouTube video, so here's my problem. I was watching Wendigoon and he was talking about the King in Yellow and he didn't understand the definition for certain words and made an assumption about what a word meant and then continued with his description of the story based on that assumption. It was just incorrect. All it took him was a second to like look up the definition of the word to know what it fucking meant, and he just chose not to do that and then just said the wrong thing for a while. He also didn't pronounce anything correctly. Best example I can give is the movie Hostel by Eli Roth. The movie Hostel is a double entendre. It's a homophone meant for you to invoke the word hostile in your head, but it's a hostel where people are staying, and he pronounced it hostel, like he thought it was a hotel, and he kept saying hostel, and I was like, I can't fucking watch this guy anymore. So that's my biggest issue with YouTubers, is that they be doing that shit. What's up, Omni? Welcome, brother. We're talking about films while Tony's doing some level art PCG stuff and putting things together. Yeah. So I don't know if that makes sense, Stevie. If you're advocating for It Follows, I'm with you on that. Feature film, I'm cool with. If we're advocating for YouTube, I'm going to be very skeptical, because I often will start watching a YouTube video about something that I think is going to be interesting, and then I just get super fucking mad at the content creator and just turn that shit off, and I won't finish it. Found Footage cinematic. All right, dude. I'll give you this one. I will give you this one. And if I hate it, your opinion will be permanently damaged. No, I will trust you. I'll take a look at it. Milk and Cereal's a really good YouTube horror film. A24. Okay, so Kane Pixels is A24. I mean, if it's A24, then I trust it. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your message. Kane Pixels has actually been signed on with A24 to make a whole Backrooms movie. Okay, all right. I believe you. There's probably some clout there. I'll check it out. Oh, looks like I got a DM. Did you send me a link to it? All right, bet. I'll check it out. That's probably gonna be really important, especially for Dread. If you're seeing like, what we're making is kind of reminding you of this a little bit, it's probably a good idea for me to watch that. Genius Teenager makes cinematic quality videos using Blender and uploading them to YouTube. I honestly, I literally don't care, whether or not.
That might be the Backrooms guy that we were watching the other day.
Oh, really?
Where I was showing you like the infinite mall that like
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's that guy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't mind. Like, I'm not trying to say that like YouTube has inferior content. I think that there's just a level of quality that can be much lower on YouTube sometimes, and it sticks out to me immediately when the content creator just doesn't do an extra 30 seconds to look up the definition or pronunciation of a word, and then they just fucking lean into that. That's not unique to YouTube. There's a I think it's like a sci-fi novel that was recommended to me called Blind Sight, and I know that I've talked about it before because Omni has been like, Blind Sight's amazing, or someone else was saying Blind Sight is incredible. And I got the audiobook on Audible and started listening to it, and this motherfucker doesn't know how to pronounce Carl Sagan. He says like Carl Sagan, and the voice actor has this really
no.
cloying fucking voice. So I let it play, you know, maybe 15 minutes and then had to shut that shit off. And I've tried to listen to it several times, but I just can't stand it because the way the guy pronounces shit and the what appears to him not, you know, he did the whole recording in like one take is what it seems to me, which is, I'm like, the quality on this is fucking garbage.
Oh, okay, there's enough Unreal people in here that somebody else has to have come across a tutorial where the guy says Niagara
instead of Niagara. Yeah.
Yep. And I know somebody has heard the Niagara guy before. It's like a pretty popular Unreal tutorial on YouTube.
Like that's crazy to me. I get if you're a non-native English speaker, but dude, just take a fucking second. Don't guess. Just take a second. Like, attention to detail fucking matters. Ex Machina was turned down elsewhere before getting picked up by A24. Dude, that's crazy. Ex Machina. I mean, I was just sitting here talking about how much I love Alex Garland. So, yeah. That's Garland, right? Yeah.
Denny? No?
No, that's Alex Garland for sure.
Okay.
I fucking love Alex Garland movies, man. It's just I don't know why. One exception, The Beach. It was okay. It was interesting. I liked it, but it was okay.
Is that about Death Stranding?
No, dude, it's about Leonardo DiCaprio and a bunch of other American tourists being on this illegal beach in Thailand and partying like maniacs, and of course shit goes sideways. It's really fucking weird, but like when you consider Alex Garland's other work, The Beach is strange. Like, how did he go from that to like fucking 28 Days Later, you know? That was Alex Garland, right?
28 Days Later, yeah, definitely.
Oh, it was Danny Boyle. Fuck, I fucked that up. But did he co-write it? Hold on one second. Oh, he wrote it. That was it.
I was gonna say, like, I've always thought of 28 Days Later as an Alex Garland movie.
Yeah, Danny Boyle directed it, but it was Alex Garland wrote it. Have you watched The Witch? Okay, Stevie says unfortunately yes. All right, so I have to say, just based on the cinematography and the vibes of The Witch, I really want to watch it, but I really think it might be very much too scary for me.
That's how I feel about Midsommar. Like, I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it.
I know I can't watch that because there's a lot of gore in that, like really bad gore. Yep. Tell me about The Witch, Stevie.
And same with The Substance. Like, I think I could probably do that one, but I could do that one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, guys, is The Substance worth checking out too?
I hear The Substance is really good.
Midsummer's inspiration for fucking Mortal Shell 2? Dude, we got the goat like secret knowledge here. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, like I said, just everything I see of Midsommar, it looks like it's a very well-made movie and very visually striking and stuff, and that makes me want to watch it. But I know that it's really fucked up. So,
yeah, the cinematography for Midsommar and the themes are very compelling, but I think the horror aspect of it is probably like, and the gore is probably what would be a little too hard for me. The Witch, it was thematically unappealing to you. Okay, so that's interesting. That's where like I'm kind of drawn in. Like, I really loved Christina Ricci and was it Christopher Walken, Sleepy Hollow? Which is obviously a very different movie. That's not scary whatsoever. But, you know, that like overcast gray, you know, colonial America, Victorians type of setting. Like, I like that shit. I think it's really cool. Chapelwaite does that a lot. Oh, I mean, Chapelwaite's just in that setting. Brightside says, I don't think you'll be scared by Midsummer. You underestimate my imagination, brother. It's not gory or scary. It's psychological in a very eerie way. Oh, really? It's not gory? I assumed, like someone told me like people get their skin removed and shit. Stevie says Midsummer.
Don't spoil it. I don't want to watch it. Somebody's getting their skin removed. I gotta find out on my own.
Okay, everyone is like, dude, The Witch is fucked. Midsummer is
The
like
Witch is
watchable.
The Witch is one of those things that I see listed with like the Serbian film and like ones like that are people are like actually really fucked up movie.
Okay, so wait. Is it The Witch with 2 V's? Because I've seen a bunch of people typing it that way.
Yeah, they wrote that
like
the first time when they asked if you had seen it. Yeah, Adder put it in quotations with the V's.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Adder. That's what was confusing me about it. Okay, so everyone's agreeing that Hereditary is completely fucked. And The Witch is just not as bad, but I guess almost as bad. Because it's not as, like, horrifying, maybe? And everyone's saying Midsummer's way easier to watch. Oh, dude, I don't think I can get through Hereditary. I'm not even going to pretend. I know that I shouldn't watch that. Like I was saying, one of my oldest friends, I've known him since he was like 8 years old. He was like, dude, Hereditary still sits with me. And he's like, he loves horror films. Like, fucking loves them. Guys, I used to struggle to watch Shaun of the Dead. I have to put that out there. It wasn't until recently. I've seen it probably like 30 or 40 times. And it wasn't until recently I was finally kind of okay with watching the scene where Davs gets pulled through the window of the Winchester and gets disemboweled by the zombies.
That is a pretty rough disemboweling scene.
Oh, bro, with the fingers? Oh,
Yep.
man. No,
Yep.
dude. No. No. Like, that's what gets me, guys. The rest of the movie, totally fine. It didn't bother me. But as soon as, like, the fingers were going into his belly, fuck no, man. People love good typo as a game or movie title. What's up, Turning Cog? Good to see you, bro. Right side. Nah, you won't get through that. Okay, everyone's saying watch Midsummer. Dude, I've seen Bone Tomahawk. Legit. It was fucked up, but I got through it. I just really like Kurt Russell, and that wasn't black and white, right? I'm pretty sure that was in black and white. No, it wasn't in black and white. I'm thinking of the Johnny Depp one. Man, I can't remember what that's called. But I have seen Bone Tomahawk.
Have you seen what's the movie? It might be Apocalypto, where it's like the South American indigenous people. I don't think there's English in the entire movie.
Yeah,
but it shows them like cutting people's hearts out. And,
I was totally cool with that.
Sacrificing them on the pyramids and stuff. That was pretty fucked up.
I really liked Apocalypto.
That
was Mel Gibson, and it was Aztecs and stuff. Yeah, that was a cool ass movie.
It was so good.
Yeah, I've definitely seen Grindhouse and Terror Planet or whatever it's called. Or is it Planet Terror? It's Planet Terror and
Death Proof.
Yeah, Death Proof. Yeah. And that is Grindhouse as one movie.
Yes.
Yes, Adder, 100%. Just watching it for the ending. Dude, the whole movie was really good. I mean, they're speaking...
It was so good. Oh, man. I haven't seen it in a really long time, but it was really good.
I cannot remember what language Aztecs speak, but they speak that. They're not even speaking like a fucking language that you would know. It's like a dead language.
Yep. There's no English in the entire movie.
I don't think it's a dead language either. I think some people in parts of Mexico still speak it.
Yep. I think he made that after The Passion of the Christ too, right?
Yeah, this was before Mel Gibson got real wild in public.
Dude is just like on a tear, making like crazy fucking movies.
What language did Aztecs speak? Nahuatl, that's it.
Yeah.
You still haven't seen The Hateful Eight? I like The Hateful Eight. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's Tarantino, so like you're gonna get what you get. But I thought it was good. I feel like he's told that story in 6 different ways, so it wasn't that good. I still think Tarantino's best stuff is Kill Bill 1 and 2, and then probably Pulp Fiction. I really like Django, liked Hateful Eight, Inglourious Bastards. That would be my third. Inglourious Bastards, I think, was probably my third, and then Pulp Fiction. Only because Pulp Fiction is just so overrated. I watched it at the time too. I was way too young to watch it, but I watched it at the time. Also, just gonna throw this out there. He fucking ripped off Memento. Let's be real. Pulp Fiction fucking ripped off Memento.
Pulp Fiction come out before Memento?
I don't think so. Memento was 2000. Oh yeah, it did definitely.
I was gonna say, I think Memento.
All right, the other way.
More recent than Pulp Fiction.
I'm just saying that shit with my full chest. Let's see. Okay. Reservoir Dogs is one of your favorites, dude. The Reservoir Dogs again. Gore. Nah. The ear, dude. I can't with the fucking ear. Hey, I corrected myself immediately, Stevie. I was like, wait a minute, that might be wrong. And I just fucking typed it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm wrong. But I'm also not a professional content creator. Like that's not why we do this, you know. I don't even think the ear gets cut off on screen. Dude, Tarantino, I have no idea why he hasn't been canceled. He's done so many things that should be cancelable. I get paid by you. I'm professional. I mean, technically, Stevie, I don't get paid. So I'm just trying to do a business, and I don't take any money from it. So I'm not professional yet. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Brightside. Quentin Mandela effect, dude. That's exactly where I'm at, dude. Oh my god, what happened the other day? There was something like that happened the other day.
Well, when we thought Tad Williams was a bunch of different things than American, and then he was just American.
I thought he was Australian because it was in the fucking
I thought he was
jacket.
British. Yep.
It was in the fucking book jacket that he was Australian. And then I go look it up and it's like, no, he's from San Jose. He's not from Australia. And I'm like, what? How? How in the fuck? That's insane. I do feel like I'm constantly in the Mandela effect, though. No, he's from San Jose. Dude, that was literally the Google result was he's not Australian. So I'm not the only one. That's the fucked up part. There's like a fucking whole article on Google search results if Tad Williams is Australian, and it says, no, he's from San Jose. Like, why do people think he's from Australia? We all fucking shifted realities a couple times, I guess. I don't know. We're probably all constantly moving through different, you know, string theory type shit, right? Okay, Bone Tomahawk I wanted to talk about a little bit more because I've definitely seen it. Oh, this is why. Because one of the movie posters, I can't remember what those are called. I want to say Playbill, but I think that's the thing you go to when you go to the theater and they give you like the acts and everything and like all the actors and shit. The movie poster was in black and white. That's absolutely what I was stuck on. I remembered liking Bone Tomahawk. Very, very fucking gory. There was some gnarly shit in that. For whatever reason, it just didn't bother me. What's up, Simple Sins? I don't know what you're talking about. What are the Y files? Overly expensive town of brown cube buildings built out of depression instead of Australia. Yeah, dude. Literally San Jose. Was he seen hanging out with the crocodile hunter or Hugh Jackman? No, I mean, he's like a somewhat obscure author, but has highly influenced a ton of like science fiction media in, you know, over the last 20 years. The people who know of Tad Williams love his shit, and he's very successful for that, but he's like not well known, which is kind of crazy. They've tried to option his work so many times, and it's just not it doesn't take off for whatever reason. And I feel like it's probably because someone paid him to use his IP and didn't let him fucking consult to share the vision. I bet you that's why. Like, they tried making an Otherland MMO in the late 90s or early 2000s. Oh man, I better start Googling before I say some shit wrong again, like Pulp Fiction being...
No, it was like a lot later than I expected. It was like definitely like 2010 or something, which surprised me.
Oh, it's out? This bitch exists?
Oh yeah. It looks like it's been out for a long time.
Ooh, 42% Steam DB review. Yikes. When did you release, game? Uh, 2015. It was shut down in 2021.
Oh, there you go.
Wait. AI overview. The MMO has no active release date because it was shut down in 2021. What do you mean, dude? Oh, man. Okay, I guess it went early access in 2015. Official release 2016 when it became free to play and then shut down. I mean, come on, Gemini. Get right, dude. You don't even know what the fuck you're saying right now. Tony is doing more of the PCG environment art seeding for Dread. Y-Files is a bunch of conspiracy theories like time slips and multiverses. I don't know that I would count those as a conspiracy theory unless you're saying time slips and multiverses are engineered by a group of people who are trying to make it a secret. That's where I would clarify that's a conspiracy theory. I don't know what you mean, Omni. The audio is overdriving for the music. Hang on, let me hear what we got. Oh, you're saying the music is just a little too high on the levels? Oh, it's clipping a bit. All right, perfect. Thank you. Good call. Looks like spaghetti. Yeah, Tony, you want to talk about your spaghetti for just a second?
It's a little overly spaghetti right now as I'm trying to get it figured out, but I'm just making stop signs, putting them on the intersections.
Damn, Simpleton's been watching too much InfoWars. I really want to say that.
I was gonna say now you got to do that.
I can't say it, dude. I can't say something about frogs, guys.
Yeah, they're making the frogs gay.
Exactly. Tony got it.
I think it's the frickin' frogs, probably, but yeah.
Let's see. Maybe they have that machine from Primer and are using it with nefarious intent. What's the machine from Primer? Guys, just in case you're wondering, Tarantino ripped off Memento. Oh, fuck, dude. To be fair, I was saying that with confidence because I had a mixed up memory where I was arguing with someone about movies and I was saying Memento was good and they were saying Memento ripped off Pulp Fiction. I just remembered it the opposite way. So it's not my fault, guys. It's totally my fault. Time machine built by office workers in their spare time? Oh, come on, bro. That shit ain't real. I talk about some very out there stuff, but I mean, if you're going to imagine some wacky things, like, okay. I will say this. I like the show Ancient Aliens. I also understand the show Ancient Aliens is absolute bullshit in like many, many ways. The way the show is structured, they state one historical fact that takes about 10 or 15 seconds to explain, and then spend the next 15 minutes making these crazy jumps in logic to get to it's because of aliens, and none of that shit fucking lines up. So, if you're going to talk about wacky ideas, at least try to make it like stick, you know? Oh, okay, you're talking about a movie. I'm sorry, Turning Cog. I thought you were back with Simple Sins watching InfoWars. Bro, put that fucking frog away or whatever that is. What is that? A T-Rex? Oh, it's a T-Rex. I'm sorry. Peanut gallery. That is not what that looks like, dude. That emote is that is a sussy emote, my friend. Oh, does he have a phone? I thought it was a shotgun. Man, my brain is cooked. He's totally talking on a phone. I thought he was like holding a shotgun, cocking it, like ready to fucking do some work. That's hilarious. Oh, the peanut is your emote? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to clown your emote, but that is a sussy emote. Chat, what do you guys think Simple Sin's emote looks like? He's already laughing. You know what it looks like. A light bulb. Oh, that is very PG of you, Stevie. I appreciate that. There you go, Turning Cog. I was waiting for it. I like Stevie's very like innocent non-degen answer. That was wonderful. Yeah, no, that was great. Simple no. No, don't do that. Don't try to make it weirder. Okay, so I was on movies. I feel like I've tried to watch The Lighthouse a few times, and that one's psychological horror too, right? The Lighthouse. I just feel like I got bored.
Oh, that's the one with the Willem Dafoe meme in it, right?
I don't know if there's a meme, but yeah, it's
like the one with him like looking at the sky and being scared. Pretty sure that's from
oh
that
yeah,
movie.
yeah, totally, yeah. Where he's
It's like one of my favorite
close
memes.
up on his face, and he's like,
Yeah, no, it's so good.
yeah. I feel like The Lighthouse is a little too artsy, a little too like Eraserhead David Lynch, while not being that far in a leap. That makes you go like, oh, okay, this is just kind of wacky. Shutter Island, fantastic psychological horror.
Cannot stay awake through that movie.
Really? It is very slow. No, it's slow. I can hear you on that.
It's like up there with like the Hobbit movies of like movies I've tried to watch 3 times and fallen asleep all 3 times.
I love the Hobbit movies.
Oh, we know.
I'm a big weirdo though. So
I have eventually gotten through all of them, but it took a while.
You need some explosions and backflips and cars jumping over trains and shit, dude.
No, I don't know what
I'm
it
just
is.
fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
I couldn't even tell you, but I don't know what it is. Just not feeling it usually.
Shutter Island is, I think most of the first like the first 2/3 of the movie are like very, very nuanced.
Mhm.
And when you watch the whole thing, the first like half of the movie suddenly makes sense. And it makes you go, oh wait, what the fuck? And so when you watch the whole thing and you get all the reveals and everything, it's like you want to go back and watch it again to see the things that you didn't catch on to the first time, because you know it's almost too subtle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Turning Cog, that's why I was saying Lighthouse kind of makes me think of Eraserhead. Like a lot. It made me think of that a lot. Like when I was watching Eraserhead, I was like, oh, this reminds me of Lighthouse in a way. Oh, they're described. So the Wikipedia article says that they are turmoiled 19th century lighthouse keepers stranded at a remote New England outpost by a violent storm. I don't think turmoiled is a good choice of words there, Wikipedia author. It was slow, dude. I don't know. Like I could watch Shutter Island and I enjoyed that. But Lighthouse does not, I don't know. It's definitely too artsy for me, I think. Which is, that's not to say it's bad. I think it's just, okay, I'll say this. There's a certain kind of person, and I'm not trying to throw shade at any of you guys here. I just want to say this. I need to preface it. Certain kind of person who's going to watch a movie like Eraserhead and be like, that's my favorite movie. And you're like, why? And they're like, oh, you just don't get it. And that, I think, is the type of person who's a Lighthouse enjoyer typically. Because they want to pick something really fucking weird to be like, I have clout. I have good taste. And it's like, dude, you can also fucking enjoy the Transformers movies. It's fine. You know, they're the kind of person who's going to be like, that's not cinema. You know, I think that's probably my issue with films like Eraserhead or Lighthouse. It's not even, it is pretense, but it's more like a fake intellectual superiority based on like how you consume art or what your ideas are about art, which is stupid as fuck, because that's not, art appreciation is subjective always. The tricky part about being an artist is making something that many, many different kinds of humans can have a subjective appreciation for. So when you do something wacky like Eraserhead, there's going to be certain kinds of people who are going to, you know, gravitate to it and want to check it out. And I think the majority of them are going to be genuinely interested in that. But I think the people who are really going to appreciate Eraserhead are like really into cinematography and the structure of a story and subverting expectations. But a person who says like, this is my favorite movie, I find that a sussy opinion. I'm going to ask a lot of questions if someone says that, just to kind of like get a read on what their personality is and what their thought process is for making a statement like that. Because I think it's kind of a movie where like you had to be there, you know? And if you were there, I could see in 1977 that being a very crazy ass movie to watch. You're like, what the fuck is this? And it might like fuck you up. But, and I don't even want to say it's dated, because I don't think it's dated. It's just, it's very David Lynch. And you know, I was talking to Anime Figurines about this the other night. It's not even his best work, honestly. Like Blue Velvet or Mulholland Drive are better. I haven't seen Lost Highway, but I've heard that one's pretty good too, but it's hit or miss. Some people really don't like Lost Highway. Exactly, Turning Cog. The fan base. Yeah, gatekeeping appreciation of shit, or like gatekeeping people's art opinions is crazy. Unless you're saying you're full of shit and you're just saying that because you want us to be impressed with your thoughts on something you didn't even make, but just your understanding of it. I will gatekeep that motherfucker all day. Lost Highway is the same as the other two as far as quality. So the thing that always made me want to watch Lost Highway is that Trent Reznor did the scoring for it. So, and you know, I'm a big Nin fan, so I've gained an appreciation for David Lynch more recently. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, Stevie, I don't mean to upset you, but I thought the original run of Twin Peaks was not super engaging for me. I liked the additional season or seasons that they added on later. I thought it made it make more sense, and it's just more interesting instead of just disjointed, abstract surrealism. And I'm not saying that as in like I didn't get it, because I think that's a common argument is like, oh, you just didn't get it. It's all a metaphor. Yeah, no shit. I know it's a metaphor. This dude wasn't literally talking to a fucking meat tree. Like, relax. I know it's weird. It's weird on purpose. And it means something that isn't the literal shit you're seeing. Yeah, I get that. But I think that if you get too out there, like some things need to be grounded. It's not to say that Lynch makes bad stuff or anything. That's not what I'm trying to get at. No, he probably has to pee. I gotta pee. That's real, dude. As soon as he gets back, I'm gonna go pee. Can I talk about peeing on Twitch? I guess maybe I should phrase that a different way. While I'm broadcasting on Twitch, may I mention biological function? There's probably TOS around that, like certain biological functions you can't explain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which ones you can't explain. As long as you're not showing it. Well, aren't there like subjects that you can't discuss either? Like there are words you can't say? I know YouTube cares a lot more about that. Oh, which reminds me, I should probably go look at our YouTube. Don't I have a window up already? I do. I was already there. Bruh. Did I miss anyone over there? Oh my god, I missed some people. Yo, I'm sorry, Real McAfee. Yes. I just caught... I hope you can hear me, and I hope you're still there. But yes, the project is called Dread. Very sorry about that. I appreciate you being there. We typically do not get people chatting on YouTube. We mostly get people chatting on Twitch. If you're still there and you're wondering why I just fucking ignored you, it wasn't on purpose. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. What is this? You got 50 XP? Oh, sick. I don't even know what that is. I don't know why you're a top fan, but hell yeah. Yeah, fuck around and find out on the E3 stream. Yep, exactly. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that name on this platform. Dude, that's very true, Turning Cog. Yeah, and I know that we're small enough that we'd probably get a warning first. I think that the people who make sensational React content videos about like, I got banned for this, they probably got warned. I don't think they got fucking bopped immediately, and they knew what they were doing. You know, I get the sense that they're going to be like, hey, maybe chill. Wild, how different the dude is in person at his day job versus persona on stream. I believe that very much, Adder. Very much do I believe that. I'm assuming you've interacted with him a few times. Oh, he did become the character? Yeah. I mean, if you're playing a character every day, like when does that, you know, when do you stop being yourself and you start being the character all the time? Yes, I did know that. I knew that he made some levels. I think he's credited with 2 shipped levels or something like that. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that guy because I was going to say some opinions that, you know, I should probably just keep to myself. It is definitely an act. I know that. I know he's a very divisive personality, and a lot of people abso-fucking-lutely hate him. And I think that's weird because he's a person on the internet. You don't even know him. Okay, Tony's back. I'll be right back.
Right now, these houses that I put in here are level instances, which is kind of a nice way to do it, but it's very not performant. And like if you saw me clicking through the maze yesterday and able to effectively just like change the active section on click, that pretty much doesn't work anymore because there's a very long load time between each go. And so I'm going to back out the level instance thing I got going on. I'm going to go back to cubes. And I'm going to try to build basically a blueprint that can then be dropped on each of these plots that I can give a couple properties. Like these are not all exactly the same because I wanted to give them a little bit of randomness. So pass the blueprint like the property dimensions and then have it kind of like randomly generate some houses. And I'm going to try to just kind of build like a house generator that's pretty basic. There's a lot of like modular pieces of these houses in this kit that it came with, so just like 3 or 4. Yeah, I think I can kind of make them appear in a blueprint pretty easily. Just a door and some windows and a roof and stuff, and then that way I should be able to kind of scale them up and down to fit in the plots. And then I know that we're gonna have some, like, every house on the correct path, every segment on the correct path probably has like at least one house that we probably want a little bit of like control over to create that unique walkthrough and stuff that we're talking about, or just like to be able to kind of give Vince control over where certain things are going to occur. So I'm just thinking a blueprint with a lot of like features and functionality like that should kind of allow us to probably do everything that we're going to need to do.
Yeah, so I heard a little bit of that. Turning Cog, this is our first pass. It was cubes yesterday. Now it's houses. So we're adding more. We're gonna have different kinds of houses.
Yeah, Adder was just asking what I was doing. And I'm just saying I'm taking the houses out because they're killing perf the way they are. So we're gonna make some in a different way.
We probably need to make one that is has a gutted interior that you can't. Like, there's just nothing inside of it.
Yeah, this first pass is definitely going to just be like boxes with roofs and no interiors. And then I think we will have maybe even like some hero houses, quote unquote, that are like maybe the one that you started or whatever. And then we'll designate those to spawn in specific locations.
Yep.
And then I'm kind of thinking with this house blueprint too, it should be able to handle like the ones that are in the distance. And I think they just get like lower and lower in like detail and complexity. And that should kind of, I don't know, just should allow us to do everything that we're trying to do. So, because for the most part right now, all of these things here are instant static meshes. So in each of these sections here, everything like the grass plots or the streets or those aren't rendered right now, but the houses, etc., are all just an instant static mesh, and that's kept the performance pretty good so far. And so each of these house blueprints probably will just have an instant static mesh for all of the different pieces in it. Or if I decide that I want to do it that way, I might even have all of the meshes in like one parent blueprint, and then all of the blueprints talk to that one. I think that might be slightly more performant, but I don't know if I want to go through the complexity of it. So we'll see.
Sweet.
Nanite is definitely on, but I don't think we're actually using any nanite right now. I showed you guys the crazy sidewalk piece from the city sample. That one definitely was nanite, but I took it out. So let's just see. Yeah, but there's nothing right now. So this modular neighborhood pack didn't have nanite enabled. I could probably turn it on. I don't know if it would be beneficial or not. That may be something that I'll test at some point, but yeah.
I was just thinking about the the COD thing, Adder, and I had an experience like that when I was working at Free Range Games. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Commander Carl dude who did the like reloading a vacuum cleaner or reloading a toaster like TikToks. That dude worked at Free Range, and I want to say in like my first month there, he like posted in Slack, "Hey y'all, I'm getting out of here. I just blew up on TikTok, so I'm gonna quit." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I'm pretty sure that dude had an ungraceful exit. He just was like, "Hey guys, I quit," like in Slack, and then went to one meeting and said he quit, and then just dipped like immediately. Yeah, it was funny. He quit at like the company happy hour Slack meeting or some shit like that. I don't even know if that's true, so I could be misremembering that. Fuck, dude. I don't know. I'd just be saying shit. If you won the lottery, there'd be signs for sure. Would those be like, "Hey guys, I don't feel like coming in today," or for the rest of any? Yeah, we're good. Tell me where you want the PC, and I'll ship it.
Captain Sparkles daily drives a Porsche GT3
RS. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a stupid car to daily, but yeah.
Yep. But he definitely does. Yep.
Adder, honestly, like, I don't think I'd change anything because I'm doing what I want to do right now. That's not to say that I'm rich, because I'm not, but like, I don't know. I'm doing what I want to do right now in life. So I'm lucky to have the opportunity to go for it. So I think my mood might change. Like in 5 to 10 years, with more success in doing this thing, I may not like it anymore. Who knows? And I might be like, you know what? I'm just gonna disappear, fade into the fucking mist. No, I want to like. Okay, I think like big life goals I have. I want to get a physics degree, which is interesting. But I think I would kind of like want to go to university, if I had just suddenly had free time. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Do some T-Pain type shit. That sounds great. We possibly stream even more.
Baller streaming. He just DJ'd at a big dubstep festival for fun. Like, I don't know. Dude has a great life.
Turning cog, I'm a no tattoo, no piercings person, so probably no face tats for me.
I might get a face tat if I was like really rich.
Would you get my face on your face?
No.
Just like my face on your cheek. Okay, what if you did that and then I got your face on my cheek, but they're opposite cheeks, so we could touch cheeks and they kiss?
Where do you come up with this stuff?
Tony fucking hates that so much.
That's crazy.
I don't know, man. I have no idea what
it's crazy.
Yeah, Adder. I've definitely heard that shit about T-Pain. I think he's talking about it on stream too. He's like, I was blowing all my money on, the club, partying and doing wacky shit and just blowing fucking money for no reason.
Yeah, there was that day he was blowing money on 3D renders and somebody questioned him on it and he was like, it was either this or strippers and this seems like a better use of the money. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I could see like some T-Pain type shit. I want to do ranch things. And I don't mean the sauce. I mean like have a ranch,
compound things,
just be in the woods, Yep. That sounds fun. I like that. But the problem is making that kind of like life transition is very expensive, and I would want dream house that I built, big chunk of land, 3 to 4 car garage with a shop. Like so that I could metal fab and do whatever and like build cars in. I mean, we have ranch here too, bro. Both kinds. But yeah, Wisconsin is a wild place, that's for sure. Ranch with the GT3 RS daily? Yeah, dude. I would love a GT3 RS, but I wouldn't want to daily drive it. Like, I'd probably take it out and drive it every now and then. But I really like, I honestly would probably stick with a car in the same class that I have now as a daily, with similar mods, just suspension upgrades to make it less squishy and more performant and nothing super serious. But then I would have probably like 3 or 4 race cars. If I had ridiculous amounts of money, I'd probably start a car collection and I'd probably get like 15 to 20 cars. The hard part about that is like, I would want to drive them all. So I'd have to start spending time driving cars. Like my free time would be like, oh shit, dude, I drove, 7 days a week this week. And they were all like leisure drives of like an hour or 2 or track days. Probably shooting range. That would be fun on my own land. That would be really, really fun. I'd put in a lot of time doing that because I think it's fun. I like shooting. Let's see what else. I want to paint, so like learning to paint would be kind of interesting. I always kind of fucking hate painting, so I don't know if that would last. I want to write a book and publish some books, so I'd probably work on some of that earnestly. Never get a boat.
No, just a friend who has one.
Yeah, probably go on some trips. I want to go hang out in Japan for a little bit. Sounds great. I'm kind of over wanting to go to Europe. Europe's kind of wacky right now. Oh, Go to Korea. I have a lot of friends that live in South Korea, so like visiting them would be really cool. I've not been able to visit them, and it's been like 15 years, so that would be awesome. Oh yeah, I get you on that, Adder. Yeah. I think like that's kind of the responsibility you have, you know, if you're like a wealthy person and you're friends with people, like you got to just kind of, you know, you got to kind of soak some of the costs if you want to go do rich bastard shit with your homies, and they're not all rich bastards, right? GT Porsches hold their value. Dad got into the GT program, and it's the best financial interest to trade in for a new one every 2 years for a range of reasons. Money problems. Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, I totally understand that. And I'm not like, I'm just talking about in, you know, a GT Audi, like not a GT trim, but like a GT car, the class of car. And that is already very fucking expensive. You know, I went from a 2009 Honda Civic Si into a 22 Audi RS5, like massive difference in car. But yeah, I think I'd do a lot more track days, get some of that going. I might travel more, but I know realistically, like travel's not a thing that I really love to do. I've traveled a fuckload in my life already, so it's not always fun. If I got to the point where I could be like, you know, chartering a plane or something, that would probably make me travel more, but that's ridiculously expensive. It's tens of thousands of dollars, and it's all based on how far you're going. So you got to pay for fuel, you got to pay the fucking crew. If you own the jet yourself, you have to pay like fees to the government and like storage fees, hangar fees and shit like that, and it's a lot. So I don't see travel being something unless I'm like a hundreds of millions millionaire, you know what I mean? Which I just don't think is even on the cards for me. But I would definitely I'd buy some like really crazy cars, like a Pagani or some shit. Be very into that. Yeah, turning cog, I'm at that point. Travel stresses me out. It just does. And it's like, it's not because I want to just be where I'm at because I'm old and I don't like change. It's more, you know, the first like probably 12 years of my life, I moved every year. And I don't mean just to a new part of the city. I mean, I moved like states. I moved countries. Like, I was just moving all the fucking time. So, yeah. Oh, I'd probably make more trips to Texas, to be honest. I really like Texas. I would probably get like a Texas ranch. I'd still have a place here in Colorado, but we might like pare it down to like a house in the mountains where you could come, you know, during the winter, just to ski, snowboard, whatever, get some mountain flavor. But the trouble there is convincing Sparkle to move to Texas, right? Like, I don't know. But you get so much more land and so much more house for the money. Yeah, Hill Country, Texas is fucking great, dude. It really is. I really, really love that part of the country. Yeah. My least favorite thing about Hill Country, Texas is the heat and the ticks. Ticks are fucking awful. I got so many ticks when I lived in Texas, dude. It was brutal. Omni, that's crazy. How many times have you been to Texas? Because Texas is a really, really cool place, honestly. It is. Once? Where did you go? Watch, this guy's like, I can't fuck with Texas, and he like went to El Paso or Amarillo or some shit. Or he was hanging out in Dallas 15 years ago. Yeah, no, exactly, Adder. And I didn't know that. I was a kid, you know? My mom let me just walk around in the fucking tall grass and just collect ticks all the time. So that shit was awful. Dallas 10 years ago. Boom, I rest my case, dude. I hear Dallas is actually not that bad anymore, but I don't know, dude. I feel like people from Dallas be saying that, and anyone who's gone to Dallas and lived in a nicer place is like, Dallas is fucking butt cheeks, dude. Get out of here. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. take 4 annual trips to Disney World. I'm kidding. I'm not a Disney adult millennial.
Dude, that's fucking low number for the Disney adults in my family.
I've been to Disney many, many times, but not because I'm a Disney adult. Like, I didn't know what the phrase meant because I think you were telling me about Disney adults, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of a Disney adult, but I've met Disney adults. I'm not a Disney adult. Not at all. Omni, that's different. You're in the area. Like, I know you're not right there.
Yeah, the people I'm talking about live in Indiana.
People who spend like tens of thousands of dollars to go to Disney every year as adults with no kids, kind of wild.
My cousin does work there now, which
that's cool. I support that.
Yeah, but so like that's a better reason, I think. But like before she worked there, it was still the case.
Adder, apparently it's a fucking millennial thing. There are a lot of like childless millennial families that go to Disney multiple times a year for like tens of thousands of dollars. They just fucking spend a ton of money to go do it. Disney adults made your previous game go? Yeah, I bet. I bet they did. I bet they fucking loved that shit. I'm not trying to talk shit about Disney adults. I think it's just a little weird. You know, Disney's for kids. I guess if you've never been, it's worth going, even if you're an adult, because it's a special. There's no place else. There's nothing similar. There just really isn't. And I mean specifically Disney World in Florida. I don't mean, you know, Disneyland is a lot like any other theme park, but Disney World is just a different ass thing. Yeah, nerd, Star Wars is for kids. I don't even know who Star Wars is for anymore, if I'm honest, Stevie.
I can't say
I don't even know. I don't know who the fuck Star Wars is for anymore. Might as well just suck it up and live in SoCal. Yeah, exactly, Adder. You'll save fucking money. Stevie says Star Wars is for everyone. Turning cock says sure as fuck came from me. That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
You're real for that, brother. Crazy expensive for the pass these days. So Adder, I was actually reading something in the news about how the period of time when it's like back to school season, so like September through October, is like the best time to go to Disney because the queues for the rides are like 20 minutes or less. Hey, what's up, Queen Anne? How are you doing? I hope your game's going well. How's Endless You? Omni says, I enjoy the Star Wars Adventure ride, but yeah, the latest Star Wars movies suck. Yeah, the Disney Park Star Wars stuff is actually really cool. It's very cool. And okay, I will say that's a reason to go to Disneyland over World, is the Star Wars attraction stuff is really, really neat. There are two types of people, says Turning Cog. Which ones? The Star Warsians and the non-Star Warsians? It is. Mid-September is always the best weather and least busy, and you get early Halloween decorations. Yeah. So most of the time that I would go to Disney was a family reunion for, you know, my dad's side of the family. They're all from Florida, so we would have people come from out of state. You know, the smaller group, there's the smaller parts of the family weren't in Florida, but we would all go to Florida. One of my aunts was like a part-time cast member working at the park just to get the benefit of a cheaper resort place, and so we'd have, I think the last time we were there was like 48 you know, immediate family relatives, like my aunts, uncles, cousins, and, you know, my generation. There were like 48 of us, just all immediate family, or like lightly extended family. Not immediate family. I don't have 48 siblings. I've never been to any Disney theme parks, so I guess the reason for me to go is because I've never experienced it. Yeah, Stevie, I would suggest going to Disney World. Like for real. Just it's worth it at least once in your life. It's a good time. It's very, very expensive, so just be aware of that. I think the kind of the perfect amount of time to go to Disney World is like 3 to 4 days, because then you're not like wearing yourself out trying to go to every park in one day. That's not fun. It's basically nonstop. And the other cool stuff is that Disney World has like dedicated adult sections. Like downtown Disney has like nightclubs and bars and shit like that. So that's kind of cool. You can go out and like party and do adult things, you know, that aren't very child focused, right? But then at the same time, during the day, you can go do stuff that's fun and like embrace your inner child and have a good time. The roller coasters are incredible to ride. The engineering is wonderful. Yeah, the Imagineering stuff they do is like... Actually, Stevie, I would say this. As someone who's making games, you should definitely go just to check out how they do the world building and, you know, the... Just really to understand why the Disney Imagineering department or the Imagineers as like a movement were important and why they're still relevant and why it matters and why it's really cool and like Disney's vision was good. You still haven't been to Canada's Wonderland? I don't know what that is, and I don't really want to go there. I'm fine never going to Canada, to be honest. I guess that's... Okay, so if I had more free time, because I had, like, you know, fuck you money or whatever, I'd probably get into hunting more. That's not to say that I'm into hunting, but it's always kind of this, like, idea that I have. I want to learn how to hunt. I want to go hunt. I eat meat. Wait, you were just saying Canada's Wonderland is just Canada, or is that Disney? Splash Mountain, a river of maple syrup? Yeah, probably. Hunting is a huge left turn. Yeah, dude. I was trying to think of things. I usually have like several trains of thought going all at once, so I apologize if you guys get whiplash on the conversations. There's an actual theme park called Canada's Wonderland. Oh shit. I don't know. I've gotten along with fewer Canadians than I've met in my life. I'll say that. Some Canadians are really chill and cool. I tend to get along with the non-urban Canadians. There are a couple I've met recently that I get along with pretty well that I really like. But the like Edmonton folks, I speak their language and we get along really well. So I've gotten along with like the working class Canadians more than anything else. Like Vancouver Canadians, I don't know. I don't know if that shit's for me at all. Crude Americans. Oh, Queen Anne, I missed some of your messages. Endless U's going pretty well. Did a couple streams designing levels. Those are turning out really well. That's sick. That's very, very cool. I'm glad Endless U's still cranking along. Actual theme park. I'm still laughing about that. I don't even know what I said derisively about Canada's Wonderland. I'm just fucking around. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's not a lot of places like I really want to go to. I like looking at history and like ruins and castles and stuff. I think that's neat, but I don't know that I want to like travel someplace to just go look at this shit. It was a good time. Queen Anne, have you been to Disney World in Florida? I'm also not trying to throw shade at Canadians at all. I just think the Canadians are the nicest people in the world thing is not true. I've met some extremely fucking rude Canadians, and they do it in a very passive-aggressive way. I'm just saying it's not true. Because I was like, oh, these people are chill. And then they're like, I don't accept anything you have to say, and I'm going to condescend to you the entire time we're having a normal conversation. And I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? I'm just existing. I did throw a lot of shade. I do have an anti-Canadian bias. Canadians know how to chirp. Yeah. But yeah, like there's a friend that I made on the internet. I don't know, like 10 years ago. Dude's a fucking lumberjack and lives in Alberta, and we get along great. He's an awesome dude. That's Canadian for shit talk. All right, nice. But at the same time, I do have some more recent Canadian friends that I get along with really well, and I value their friendship a lot. You guys in chat are included in that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just going off my personal experience. I've worked with some Canadians that were like real fucking devious, and I thought it was super strange. That could just be like a professional environment thing. I don't know. And maybe not just a Canada thing, but like those people specifically, it was like their thing. I don't want to talk about Canada anymore because I'm going to say more negative shit. I imagine Nova Scotia is probably pretty cool. Oh, I got along really well with French Canadians. I don't know why. And I know other Canadians do not like French Canadians typically, but yeah, exactly. You do get both sides of the spectrum anywhere, for sure. And the irony here is that some of the Canadians I'm talking about came from Alberta, and they were just shitheads. So, like, on the one hand, one guy I get along with really, really well, who I've known for years, and then on the other hand, like several people from the same region who were just absolute shitheads. But they acted like they were super polite. They were just really fucking passive aggressive, like crazy passive aggressive. I guess the same thing holds true for the Pacific Northwest, right? Like in the United States, very similar mentalities, which I guess just doesn't mesh well with me and my personality. I'm too direct. I don't mean to be offensive. It's not the goal. You know, if anything, since we were talking about True Detective, I definitely feel a lot of similarities in my personality with Rust, like a lot. I'd just be saying shit that really upsets people, and I don't know it, and I don't mean it. It's not my intention. And I'm just like that. I'm just very direct and honest. I apologize in advance if you Canadians are very mad at me for stereotyping you in that way, but it's just my life experience. Yeah, same turning cog. I think like coming from a military family and living in so many different places, like, yeah, that's just what I know, you know? Like my intrinsic personality traits are just incredibly direct. LSU's still going strong. Took some time off to recharge last month. It worked wonders on motivation. So, Queen Anne, I don't know if you know what we're working on, but we're not working on Hyperscape for the month of October. We're working on a liminal space psychological horror game that we're calling Dread. Think Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Lost Woods mechanics, but it's just a walking simulator, and we're asset flipping. So we're doing that to take a break from Hyperscape. Because Hyperskate it's just a huge project with with VR and all that. There's so many other things that are in the way, and we've just had so much strife, I guess, with finding art and art assistance that we need, because VR has very specific needs. I have a very specific vision for the art style and stuff that we want to go for, and yeah. Okay. So yeah, awesome. I'm happy to talk to you more about Dread. So what Tony's working on is the procedural generation for the exterior environment that works in the Lost Woods. Yesterday, so expect that for the whole month of October, we're going to be working on Dread on stream. We're definitely working on it off stream. But we got, yesterday was our official first day working on the game, right? For the challenge of October. But we've got the walking simulator mechanics in. Tony's built the PCG stuff for the exterior environment. There's going to be an interior environment, so we will soon need to start working on that. I'm writing the story, doing the art palette. We're asset flipping, so we don't have to get into like making brand new shit, but Tony's been making some stuff that we need just to fulfill PCG needs and environment art needs. We have another engineer helping Simple Sins in chat. He's said a few things, but Simple Sins is working on player verbs, which would be you can find like a note on the ground and pick it up and interact with it, and that's where narrative will be delivered to the player. Omnidynamic is helping us with audio engineering because audio is going to be a really important part of this. Brightside and the Girth Gang have helped us out with making some audio tracks for inspiration that we would like to use in certain ways in the game. So yeah, we've got a lot of momentum and we're continuing to crank along through this. I've been really focused on understanding what psychological horror is, so consuming a lot of entertainment content in that genre. So over this last weekend, I watched Eraserhead, American Psycho. There's a couple of other things that I watched that were in psychological horror, but I think those two things like were big notes for me. Chat yesterday and Tony gave me homework to watch True Detective season 1, so I watched all of that yesterday. Yeah, finished that up at like 1 o'clock this morning. But yeah, no, so we're not going to do it'll be text on screen, but it's going to be through like notes that the player finds. So at different moments through the environment, you'll be able to pick up a note and inspect it. And when you inspect it, it'll give you some information. The way that I want to do that is I want to imply that the player, so I want the notes to be mysterious at first, but towards the end of the game or at the end of the game, the player will realize that they have left these notes for themselves, and the nature of reality is very ambiguous. You don't know if this is a dream or if the player has actually experienced these things, the player character has experienced these things. That's how I want to lean into that. I'm looking at a lot of the King in Yellow for psychological horror inspiration as well. Stevie's been very helpful with suggesting a lot of stuff. Everyone in chat has been really helpful for suggesting things. Psychological horror is not something that I typically consume, but yeah. Turning Cog says, does the player find a Polaroid of themselves they don't remember taking? No, because that's a graphical asset that we would have to deal with. So also, if you consider this, so this is also a scoping exercise. We're trying to make the entire game in the month of October. So start to finish and ship it at the end of October. Adder, you're having fun? That's awesome. So if to answer your question, Turning Cog, scope is really, really important here. And the most stuff that we can solve in design, instead of being like we have to make this content or author this content ourselves, I'm really trying to eliminate as many of those things as we can for a minimum viable product experience so that we can ship this. We're going to use liminal spaces in the interior part of the game. You're making memento jokes. I got you. All right. I got you now. I got you. Oh, the DJ was asking if you were having fun. All right, nice. Yeah, I can't. The problem is if I have it on, like you guys will hear me going. Yeah, so I have to like turn my audio down. So it's basically just not on right now. And if I have
that's why it's on Fred mode in Discord, is so that like theoretically you could listen to it without having to listen to the stream as well.
That's true.
Yep. Because that's how I listen to it.
No, I appreciate you, Tony. It's a fun way to do a story, kind of a solid video game narrative. Yeah, exactly. I want to use a lot of environmental storytelling. I've talked about a lot of this on stream. We technically started working on it about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, but yesterday was like our first official day doing the challenge and all that. Tony got the PCG stuff prototyped and stood up within, a couple of days. It was like 4 or 5 days. So he's continuing to iterate, and the system is basically almost done for the exterior part of the game. The exterior being the players in a neighborhood, and you're like sneaking out of your house late at night, to go meet up with some friends. I'm thinking about the player character being like a teenager, because I feel like that's a really good relatable time for every human being. Everyone's been a teenager, and it's a confusing point in everyone's life when you're starting to try to understand the nature of reality and how the world works and stuff like that. So I think that'll mix really well with the themes that we're going for. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going for. Not everyone's been a teenager. Y'all are wild. Don't you want to read your games? I mean, the hard part, Turning Cog, is like I'm writing the whole thing, so like I'll already know the story, so it won't be that I'll read it. Yeah, it's not going to be a book packed within a game at all. No, we're going to do a lot more environmental storytelling than direct delivering of narrative. So each of these notes is meant to be a punctuation mark in the story, like a very specific moment that matters a lot to make the player go, wait, what the fuck does that mean? And we can tie those to a couple of things. So if we consider the King in Yellow, one of the ideas I've been playing with the notes are maybe excerpts directly from the King in Yellow, which is an anthology written by a dude I can't remember right now. I can Google that real quick. Robert Chambers, a Lovecraftian contemporary. He and Lovecraft made their, anthology short stories and, tales of mystery or whatever the fuck they called them in the late 1800s around the same time. So the King in Yellow is similar to Cthulhu mythos. It's like an elder god that is like, what were you calling it? A cognito hazard, which I guess is a turn of phrase in horror, appreciators. But I would consider it like an entity that exists through thoughts and ideas that drives people mad once they understand what these things are, become aware of what the King in Yellow is. So that type of thing is going to be really important for the story. So playing with the nature of reality, like what is real, what isn't real. The Lost Woods is going to be like pretty clear at the onset, where like if you make the wrong turn, so the player will always get a choice of, do you go straight left or right as you're moving down the street? And if you pick two of the directions will be incorrect. If you pick one of those, you'll start back at the beginning. So you'll move down this infinite path. And Tony has that system prototyped and working. So that's very, very cool. Are you trying to launch this for Steam Horror Sale or something specific? Nah, not necessarily. Just kind of time it around here. Marketing wasn't necessarily a very big consideration, if I'm honest. But I think it just kind of felt like the right time. We're having a lot of conversations about, how to work on things, what we should work on. We typically have taken a break from the main project during the month of October. Last year we did, Tony made chat integrated zombie stuff for Unreal. I think a bunch of you were around for that. I know Turning Cog, you probably remember making Turning Cog zombies walking around in the graveyard and all that. So we're going to do something again, in that similar vein for this month. And we just, I was talking with Stevie Ray offline outside of stream, and, she kind of like pitched a couple of ideas, and then we talked about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I went to the team and talked to some people, and yeah, we got excited about some ideas, and now we're running forward with this project called Dread. The only thing I highly suggest is make a demo and send it around to a ton of content creators until you hit at least 5K wish lists, instead of launching immediately. I mean, I think we could do both, Stevie. It's not like the company is contingent on the success of Dread, right? It's just also a really good exercise because we're dealing with problems that have already been solved for the most part. This technology already exists. VR stuff has a lot of no one's ever done this before, especially in Hyperskate. So we have these really big technical problems to solve with Hyperskate, and there's just not any of that in Dread. And we're using, asset packs and stuff like that so that we can be as rapid and iterative as possible. Yeah, it's definitely partially Stevie's fault. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what the Dread project is. We have Spooky Neighborhood. Yesterday it was just cubes. I grabbed a couple prefab things and creating the palette, gave those over to Tony. He got them seeded out into the world, but now he's trying to make them more performant because they're not super cooperative. And to be fair, the modular neighborhood asset pack was not super performative. Like even their demo level, it's pretty heavy compared to some of the other asset packs we're looking at. But imagine this, Queen Anne. You're as you're sneaking out and walking around in the neighborhood, you realize you're kind of like stuck. You know, that's the Lost Woods vibe. You keep coming around to the same block and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But on that first block, you're going to pass this, like, you know, this spooky mansion. Think like Monster House, where it's like this abandoned Victorian house that doesn't have the same aesthetic as the rest of the suburban neighborhood you're in. And, you know, I want to play with that trope of like, there's this creepy house in the neighborhood, because everybody knows what that's like when you're a kid, you know, out exploring. So one of the concepts for knowing that the player's on the correct path is we're going to subtly change different parts of the environment. So as the neighborhood is generated, when you go on the correct path, imagine that you go past the spooky mansion, you make a turn. It looks like you're on the same, you know, maybe on the same street, but maybe the mansion's on the other side of the street this time, and there's a red light coming through the window. So those will be the contextual clues in the environment that help the player understand that they're on the correct path. We're going to lean very heavily on audio too, to sell a lot of the tension and the spookiness and the you're on the right path stuff. That's kind of the first leg of the game. The second leg of the game, maybe the last 2/3 or last half of the game, will be going inside of the mansion. So if you imagine, you know, the spooky house is on one side of the street or the other, aspects of the house are changing. Those are your landmarks that are telling you that you're kind of on the right path. And then the final, you know, step of the exterior part when you're in the suburban neighborhood will be the open front door. And it's like at the end of the street. So you like walk into that, and that's your like, okay, now I'm in here. When you're inside of the house, we'll shift to an interior space. And from there, we're going to use a lot of liminal space horror. So Tony made a pools room as a good example. So we're going to use the pools room in the mansion, and we're going to do a lot of like really weird shit. If you think like House of Leaves with the Navidson record, you know, fits with the King in Yellow. It fits with a lot of these other concepts. The main idea of the King in Yellow is that the King in Yellow is a fictional book that doesn't exist and was never written, despite the fact that it's called the King in Yellow. So the way the story is written is that this guy is talking about this play and this book called The King in Yellow that nobody ever wrote. And the concepts in that drive people to become insane and, you know, end themselves and stuff like that. So this idea sort of infects you with madness. And that ties in with liminal spaces with House of Leaves because of... Oh, cool. Yeah, there you go. So Queen Anne, you already know. I don't need to explain House of Leaves anymore. But yeah, so, you know, with the Navidson record and the impossible space on the interior of the house that is non-Euclidean, doesn't make any sense, and it keeps growing, and there's this entity in the darkness. That's everything that we're going for. So like when you get into liminal spaces, we'll have these impossible, you know, infinite corridor type of things that are very spooky, using a lot of lighting and audio. But yeah, the player's just walking. So we're not going to have a lot of verbs of like, oh, you get a weapon, you can run, you can jump. Like, we're not going to have any of that. We're going to pare it down to like the simplest thing possible. Let's see. Last year's Graveyard Inn is a point of interest. I don't know that it will fit. Yeah, I don't know if it'll fit. We could probably find a way to make it fit, but it might be more work than just like using other stuff that we already have. The biggest important thing here, like I was saying, is scope and making sure that we can deliver the features that are necessary to the game. So we're going to try in the next couple of weeks to really just get it to the point where it's playable end to end, and we know what we're doing. And so the most that we need to do is content authoring to flesh out all the environment art, you know, put in all the notes in the story and everything that needs to be in there. So that's really what our targets are. What's up, Burnt Pineapple? I'm genuinely curious how you reference House of Leaves, Queen Anne. Assuming that you're talking about Endless You. So it's like Tenacious D song where it's not the song, only the story of the song. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a really good way to explain it if you're familiar with Tribute. And that's what House of Leaves is like too. it talks about this fictional documentary that doesn't actually exist, and no one has watched the documentary. There's no record of the documentary ever existing, but the central character has this screenplay, and they can like read through the shot list and all this other stuff, and they're like, what the fuck, this isn't real. Like, how does this even exist? It's like a found footage thing too. What do you mean the Duolingo drop? Oh, was it in the music? It must have been in the music too. Oh, you got a drop from Duolingo? Nice. Nice, dude. What language are you learning? I've never used Duolingo. Do you guys like it? I feel like it probably wouldn't teach me a language. You're learning Czech and Spanish. Dude, Czech is very hard to learn. That's crazy. I think all I know is Dobry den. I think that's it. It's like hello. Or is it Dzień dobry? Dobry den? I think that's it. I worked with some Czech dudes and they tried to teach me some Czech. I remember talking to the guy and I was like, that's hard to pronounce. And he goes, dude, even people who speak Czech natively can't pronounce Czech correctly, so it's fine. Adder says it works great, but it takes discipline like any other complex learning. Yeah, I felt like, you know, you guys are aware that I'm old, but I definitely did some Rosetta Stone back in the day for like German and Japanese, and I can actually speak Spanish. I'm very out of practice with it. But you know, conversationally, I can definitely get by speaking Spanish. And if you give me like a day of speaking mostly, if not only Spanish, then I'm fine. And I can speak it well enough to get along in any Spanish speaking country. The hardest part is understanding words I don't know from native speakers. Adder says Duolingo added chess, if you didn't know. That was Burnt Pineapple. Why would you play chess to learn a language? I think that's the thing that makes me skeptical of Duolingo, because I'm a game designer. I see gamified shit all over Duolingo, and I'm like, that's why people interact with Duolingo, is because it's gamified. They're not actually learning a language. So that makes me skeptical of it. That's why I'd rather take like a class or something, or, you know, do Rosetta Stone. The first word was blot. Mine was Vogel, Auto, diesem Autos, something like that. Die Vogel fliegt was like, yeah. I said that shit so many times. The bird flies, guys. Okay. I was learning Czech and Spanish, blah, blah, blah. Works great. Takes discipline. Significant other learned Swedish while we both worked at Avalanche. Oh, that's sick. Like just off of Duolingo? That's cool. No, it's a podcast I made a while back. It's about me, host of the podcast, going over this old blog written by a trans artist, but the blog doesn't really exist. But the whole thing is presented like it's all real. Ooh, that's crazy. So are you like, is this like a metaphor for something, or are you just trying to be spooky, or like, what was the goal? And did you stop doing it, Queen Anne? Burnt Pineapple, I have no clue. Yeah, it's been reported. Little amount of people have actually learned. Yeah, from Duolingo. Yeah. Totally. I believe that. It's the fishing mini game, so people stay on the app. Yep. Das Brot is the bread. Oh yeah, I also know milk. Yeah, like what's the flavor of the podcast, Queen Anne? Like I want to know. And is it did you like publish it on any major thing? Is it you on like Spotify or something? AAA Battery, Duolingo, or Babbel? I mean neither one. I did Rosetta Stone or like learn language in school. So yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. 5-episode run, always meant to be that. It's a vehicle for me to tell personal stories. That's very cool, Queen Anne. Yeah, if you want to share, you can definitely drop a link in Discord. Yeah, it'd be cool. That's really interesting. Now I want to know like the story you told and all that. That sounds very cool. It's not hosted, so you'd have to share a Google Drive folder. I mean, I think you could DM it to me if you're down for that. I definitely want to check it out. But I think that's up to you. If you're uncomfortable with that or whatever, like that's totally cool and I understand. No worries. I think it's cool when people make art and that sounds like art. Yeah, you're welcome. Also very interesting to just like try to understand someone else's perspective that's like very different from mine. That's really, really important to me. So, and I mean, it's not even understand, just like getting the chance to like see a little bit of the world through someone else's eyes is like, I think that's the most important thing to me. Yeah. It's supposed to be listened to. Awesome. I definitely did a podcast for a while too, with some friends when I worked in telecom. We just did like video game reviews and like got drunk and shot the shit. So I don't know. It was weird. The problem was that one of my friends that recorded it, he just didn't want anyone to listen to it. So it took like years to even get my own copies of it. I thought it was really good. There were people who were like, this fucking sucks. And I mean, that's hard too, you know? I don't know if I met anyone who doesn't want to share their work if it's cool. I'm skeptical of your level of expertise on that, burnt pineapple, based on the amount of years you've existed as a human being. What games are you buying in the autumn sale? So I say this. I'm not a game collector because there are so many games to play that I play games that I'm genuinely interested in or that people harass me about. You know, I mean, shit, True Detective Season 1. I have not watched that until yesterday, and I watched the whole thing yesterday, and people have been telling me to watch that shit for 10 years. So that's just the way I am. You just don't know fun games. You get bored easily. Why do you get bored easily? Because I would argue that you may not know how to be bored. Burnt pineapple. Yeah, no worries, Tony. And the reason I say you may not know how to be bored is because when I was a kid, I didn't have a choice. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have tablets. We didn't have the internet. And I had to be at a very young age in public with adults, being the only child there, and literally be bored with no options for entertainment. Oh no, so turning cog. No, I have fun. I definitely do. But that's what I'm saying is like I choose to play games that I think are going to be fun for me or that I'm interested in. It takes a lot of convincing for me to play a game that someone else likes, because I obviously have very weird takes on shit that people just don't understand. I do think if I recommend stuff though to people, that my taste and recommendation towards a person is like usually based on what I know of them and what I think they'll like. Oh, you didn't mean pineapple? Oh, my bad. I don't even know if it's overanalyzing. Like, I genuinely think this is a problem for your generation, pineapple, is that like, I think you just don't know how to be bored. and I'm not trying to throw you into a bucket here and stereotype you, but the younger people that I know don't, like, you guys have existed with so much distraction and so much like input. There's just shit being jammed into your fucking sensory organs all day. And when I was growing up, there was like nothing. Like, we had to, we would be told to go outside and go invent fun because we were in the house being like, I'm bored, entertain me, adult. And the adults are like, fuck, I'm tired, go away. So that was fun. We had to go figure it out and make fun for ourselves without someone else, without like, I wasn't even allowed to watch TV all the time, like that was hard. Playing video games was also like a very niche hobby and looked at as a huge waste of time and not beneficial at all. Television and video games were brain rot. Like, you weren't allowed to do that. The crazy thing is, we literally have actual brain rot now in short form content that doesn't teach anything. It doesn't make you use your brain. And yeah, it's bad. Oh, I see how it is, Queen Anne. You sent it to oh, you sent it to me too. Okay. I was gonna talk shit. Thank you. I was gonna be like, oh, you sent it to Stevie, but not me, huh? Oh, I didn't read that right. I've sent it to you and Stevie. All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. How long are the episodes? I did. I'm sorry. Until I was like 6, I had no electronics, but I just ran around with my friends and still do. I mean, 6 isn't very old. I know it feels like it's probably pretty old, but I would argue that, like, really being bored and learning how to be bored and entertain myself, I didn't really do until I was like 10. So up until I was 10, I didn't know how to entertain myself. But because I had to figure all that shit out, and I was in that situation all the time where I didn't grow up with like a lot of financial means to provide distractions for me as a child. Like, I probably would have been handed a phone a few times, but I would have been like limited by my phone use and all that to look at a screen, But yeah, I was definitely not allowed to watch a lot of TV. So Stevie, my compromise was I did. So my dad had an extra TV. He gave me a TV so that I would leave him alone, and I would play video games. Like, that's what got me into video games was my dad. I didn't live with my dad. I would go visit my dad. I lived with him for a couple of years, but that's neither here nor there. So when I would go visit my dad, I had a TV in my room, but I didn't have cable connected to that TV. So I had to get I had USA and UPN, and I think that was it. I got like maybe Fox. I got like 3 channels that were broadcast via radio. And I know that's really weird for younger people. They're like, what the fuck does that mean? You had this antenna you had to hook up, and the signal wasn't super great. So you had to like adjust it until you got the channel right. And then if you change channels, you would have to like adjust them again to get another channel. So I would watch TV that way or play video games on that CRT, and it was tiny. They vary. I think it's 1.5 to 2 hours for the whole thing. Oh, okay. That's very easy for me to consume. No worries. I mean, Stevie, I had like The Simpsons, and I don't like The Simpsons anymore. I very much have not liked The Simpsons since like season 8, and we're on like season 28 or some shit like that. So I don't know. And even then, my parents didn't like me watching The Simpsons. Used all your screen time on the computer. I definitely spent a lot of time figuring out how I could entertain myself with a computer, because I had a computer, but I wasn't allowed to have games. So I don't know. I played with Legos a lot. I would write stories and draw, and that's directly translated into what I do now. My dad has one and a landline phone. Your dad has one what? Tony sorted the nodes up and down, probably using Blueprint Assist. Yeah. Solitaire and Minesweeper for real. We have a phone ban. I might bring in a landline phone to see what they do. Yeah, no worries, Pineapple. That's good. You have good parents if they don't give you a smartphone. That's fantastic. You should not have that shit. It's really bad for you. Your brain's still developing. You should read books. Read a lot of books. I'm spicy today? What did I do, Turning Cog? I don't even remember. Am I spicy? Oh, it's because I was attacking Canada. Is that why? Because I'm being mean to Canadians? I mean, y'all Canadians can convince me otherwise. But I definitely have a bias. It's not any one thing, bro. What do you mean? What did I do? Was it the Pulp Fiction comment? Going off about not having tech in ye olden times. I was like, I'm not trying to be mean when I say that. I genuinely think that not being bored and like not understanding how to be bored is a problem for, even Gen Z, right? Like I have a lot of Gen Z friends that it's very difficult. I mean, shit, guys, like I had to use a fucking map, like a paper map to go places. I mean, Stevie, you can probably relate. Turning Cog, you too, right? Like not having GPS is that, like, that's a thing. You got to use critical thinking, got to read books. It's very important. I was seeing something that was saying like, I think AI is also like very problematic for Gen Z because a lot of Gen Z is using AI instead of thinking, and that's a problem. Learn some stuff. Think about things. Have conversations with people. Vibe coding doesn't work, Simple Sins. Back in my day, we had to use the sun to navigate and know the time. I mean, that's actually very real. Learning how to use the sun to navigate is like, that's a fucking basic ass skill that every human being should have. That's crazy if you don't, like, the sun always fucking comes up in one spot and goes down in another spot. And that can help you know which direction is, one of the cardinals, right? Like, yeah, exactly, Queen Anne. That's what I was trying to say. Young kids with AI on their phones is a problem people are talking about now. I mean, shit, young kids with phones is wild. Like, I know that you guys can relate, but there was definitely a time when you would like call your friend and they didn't pick up and you'd leave them a voicemail and you might hear back from them that day or not. It's just the way it went. And people got on fine. It was okay. We are lost. Nope, we need to head that way. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Turning Cog. Just like spatial awareness, knowing where the fuck you are at any given time without an electronic device is really important. They saw it called, they don't need a message. Dog, we didn't have caller ID until I was like 14. We had to use *69 to figure out who the fuck called. I don't know if you remember that. You get a phone call and it would ring and you just ignore it and you'd be like, or miss it. And you'd be like, oh shit, the phone was ringing. You'd pick up your own phone and dial *69 and then it would tell you the number that called you. Yeah, *69, dude.
Wouldn't it just dial back the number that just called you? It wouldn't tell you. Like, you had to kind of be like, I'm willing to just call somebody and be like, who is this?
Oh, maybe it did. Yeah. Maybe that was *67 that would tell you the number.
*67 would block your number before you would dial, so that they couldn't *69 you. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, bear with me here. We're talking about like 30 years ago, so.
I was like right on the tail end of some of that.
It dialed back. What was the one that gave you? Maybe caller ID was like post *69. That was when they started to have caller ID, and you had to get like a special box that plugged into the phone line that showed the number that was calling. I remember that. Phone calls were the real dopamine. I mean, I feel like phone calls scared the shit out of me all the time. But the reason is because I was home alone, like a lot. Like I was just home by myself because my mom was out working and whatnot. So, you know, she would stay at the office until like 7 p.m. a lot. So I would get home at like 3 and just have like a chunk of 4 hours to figure out what the fuck to do with myself. I thought you hit a number option to call back. Yeah, I think that was *69. Yeah. Queen Anne, you're like Gen Z, right? And all good if you don't want to talk about that. If you're like, I'd prefer not to say. Totally cool. But yeah, like I had a pager. That was the way people got in touch with me, which was weird as fuck. So I would get like a page and it was always from my friends or my mom. That's it. Those were the only people who would page me. And then I would have to go to a payphone and either call someone back or get a quarter and fucking make a phone call to call someone back. You're 35? Hell yeah. Right now you're 35. Yeah. Right now I'm 42. I love that. I hate talking on new phones. I miss headsets. Yeah, dude, turning cog. I'm thinking about being a teenager and how I'd just call my friend up and we would just sit on the phone and be like, so, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? And we would just sit there and bullshit on the phone for like 4 hours. No other phone calls could come in. We're just tying that goddamn phone up. Every teenager did that my age. It was so fun.
Oh yeah.
No, Queen Anne. I liked the way you phrased it. I think it's like delightfully pedantic. At this moment in time, I'm 35. Yeah, that's perfect. I have no problems with that. No, Stevie, I'm first year or second year of millennial. I think if I was born in, I think it's like 82 or 81 is Gen X, something like that. So it's like right in there. But yeah, no, I did appreciate that. I like that verbiage. It's fantastic. I'm a high tier. What is it? Pedant. Yep, exactly. Pedant. I got it. Who knows where the cutoff is? I think it's a state of mind. Yeah, no, it's totally a state of mind. I will say culturally, I probably relate the most to Gen Z, but like my personality, you know, I grow and change, which is normal for a lot of, well, I guess it's not normal, but I feel like most people should do that. I never felt a relation to Gen X. I actually don't like a lot of Gen X people. Here we go. I'm spicy again. The biggest reason is because Gen X likes to talk a lot of shit about millennials. And I'm like, you guys didn't fucking do anything but just be like, we don't care, man. And I'm like, sick. You guys are real edgy. But I recall when Gen Z were teenagers, I struggled a lot to understand Gen Z. It was really hard and they were very annoying, but I think it was just because of an age difference. But I have plenty of Gen Z friends now who are in their 20s, and Gen Z is cool as fuck. Like, honestly, like mature Gen Z is awesome. I really, really like them. But also being a millennial that was very into technology, I am not like other millennials. I'm not a fucking Quirk Chungus, you know, with a Stanley mug making TikToks at 40. Like, that's not me on Facebook, you know? Like, that's not my shit at all. So, you know, I have better conversations. I think the things that I like the most about Gen Z is like emotional intelligence and like willingness to just respect people for who the fuck they are. Gen X is very, very judgy, and so are millennials. Millennials and Gen X can be really fucking mean for no reason, just like dickheads about someone being like, yeah, I'm having a bad day. Like, my feelings hurt because of this. And they'd be like, you know, get over it, you fucking idiot. Like, oh, I'm sensitive. Whereas Gen Z will be like, tell me about it. And they may not agree with you, but they'll give you the fucking space to express yourself. And I love that. It's fucking cool, man. He's coming for our Stanley mugs. I don't. What am I doing? I don't mean it. I mean, I just got a glass mug, dude. Like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean, turning cog. Not all Stanley mug owners, just some. The millennials that are making TikToks, the millennials that are on, social media with a Stanley mug. Thank you, Stevie. What is even a Stanley mug? Fucking ranting old man today. That's what I am. But no, I definitely like really like Gen Z. I think there was a while where I didn't get Gen Z and I didn't care for Gen Z, but I was like very like my personality was a lot closer to Gen Z. Yeah. Steel tumbler, it doubles as a hammer. Yeah, it's a lead lined insulated mug. They use lead in them shits. It's just a double insulated mug. Some people say
then people damage them and consume a bunch of lead accidentally.
Yeah. I've heard people say they're ridiculously expensive and all that. I think it's like a $30 mug. Who the fuck cares? You have a cup that you can use forever. It depends on the one you get though, right?
Yeah, but like the one that everybody has, I think is like $65 usually.
How long does it last? Years, right? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, like I mean, it's the same one that like some people still have from like the 70s or something. Like same company. Theoretically, it should last just as long if you treat it well.
I wasn't trying to shit on Stanley mugs. I was trying to shit on a certain kind of millennial that has like their Stanley mug in their fucking TikTok video, and I'm like, you're too old for that shit. Get off the internet. That's what I was talking shit about, not the Stanley mug owners. I mean, there's too many people that own Stanley mugs to like. Yeah, spending $60 on something that is worth it because it's gonna last for a very long time. Yeah, absolutely. I like that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't see any problems there. I mean, I'm not a person who, and this is probably because I grew up, without a lot of opportunity on like the very lower end of middle class, if not somewhat near poverty line, whatever. I didn't get stuff. So I don't have like a spending or consuming issue. So I will often get things way later. So I remember I got, when I was at Bungie, I got a couple of different insulated drinking vessels. I have like a coffee mug or whatever that's, you guys have probably seen on stream a couple times. I had like a thermos that I really liked, but I dropped it and it got dented, and that was like a one-off from Bungie. And then Tony was like, hey, if you want a new one, and he recommended one to me, and it's been great. And that's what I use all the time. I use it at the gym mostly, but yeah, and that's my like drinking cup. I only ever put water in it, but it's great. There you go. It's a really good mug, honestly. Zero complaints. It's fantastic. Double insulated, holds temperature really well. Really good. Let's see. My take on tech stuff. People have been saying tech is brain rot forever, so I feel like we have to tread carefully being too doomer about brain rot. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, Stevie, but I don't think that there's any benefit from short form content. It doesn't make people smarter, and it like de-incentivizes critical thinking, and that's where I see the problem. Or disincentivize. I don't know which prefix is correct for that word. So that's what worries me is when, like one of my Gen Z friends, you guys have seen him like rolling through chat sometimes, Burnout. Dude literally was telling us about his like screen time app, and he was spending 6 to 8 hours a day on TikTok. And I watched him once. He screen shared with me to show me some TikToks. He watched 3 to 8 seconds of a video. 8 seconds was one he liked. 3 was one he wasn't sure he even wanted to watch, and then he would scroll. And I was like, dude, you do this how long? And he was like 6 to 8 hours a day. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? That's so bad for you. So that's the thing I mean specifically. I think longer form content, like if you're hanging out in Twitch and watching people have a conversation like you guys are doing right now, and you guys have been here for a couple of hours, we're having a conversation. Your brain is fucking working. You're doing something. You're engaged in a discourse. That's healthy. That's good for you. But if you're only taking in one way, like, slop for the brain, it's just not good. It's going to do some damage. Personally, I always felt closer to Gen X and Gen Z only because my brother was Gen X. I mean, I'm not trying to like, okay, I have to caveat this. It's okay if you guys don't agree with what I'm saying. And I'm not saying someone is like a lesser person for having a different opinion. I think everyone is perfectly entitled to have their own ideas about things. I may not agree with them, but I don't think that means that you're like a shitty person for having a different perspective on life, right? Like, I like that. I like that people have different perspectives. Doesn't mean I won't say that your idea is stupid, because I definitely will do that sometimes. But I also want to have a conversation about it, I got just a normal steel water bottle that if you leave on a concrete floor makes the perfect temp. Nice, dude. I gotta say, turning cog, get a double insulated one. It's really good. I prefer my water to be very cold. And that water bottle that Tony linked, actually, did you link the water bottle itself, or is that just
no, just
okay.
The Linus Tech
Anyway.
Tips store, and that's where they're selling.
Yeah, the water bottle on Linus Tech Tips store, it's double insulated and it's really nice. It has rubber gaskets for the lid and the mouthpiece and a carry handle. But the nice thing about double insulated, I like my water really cold. Dude, I will fill that shit up and it will be the same temperature for like 6 hours. It will not change. It'll be fridge cold for like 6 hours. Hey, welcome back, Pineapple. It's the spoon feeding algorithms that do everything to keep you swiping. Yeah, exactly, Stevie. And I think, so this is interesting. I think I've told you guys about this before, but if you're not familiar, but you're interested in this stuff and you like game design, there's a book called Irresistible: The Rise of Addictive Technology by Adam Alter. And he's a clinical behavioral psychologist who studies addiction and specializes in addiction. He wrote a really good book about his findings with what the psychological mechanisms are in the human brain that create behavioral patterns. And specializing in addiction, he was talking about, substance abuse and all that, and like bad gambling habits and psychological disorders that lead people to risky behavior, like bipolar disorder and stuff like that. But he was finding that there were people with no history for addiction and understanding. So he was very against the idea that there's an addiction gene, or like some people are more prone to addiction. It's all about behavioral patterns that you create. And he uses technology as an example to disprove, chemical dependency by showing that behavioral patterns and neurochemistry is in line with someone who has a crippling addiction to a hard narcotic versus someone who has an addiction to a Fitbit. And the behavioral patterns and the neurochemistry is nearly identical. Obviously, there's no withdrawals from quitting running because of your Fitbit. But the other important piece that you have to understand is that when you buy a piece of technology like Duolingo that is gamified, or a Fitbit to run more with goals and all this other shit. So if you have goals and checklists and stuff like that and achievements, that's gamification. When you have that stuff in there, it builds behavioral patterns that are very difficult for a person to break. And those behavioral patterns exhibit the same personality traits as someone who is addicted to a narcotic. So, and he goes through it. Like I audiobooked it and I thought it was really great, but it's really, really good. So if you guys are curious about any of that, highly recommend that book. Yeah, it was really, really good to listen to. The thing that blew my mind is he was talking about how Google does that with fucking Gmail. Gmail's gamified. There's an army of people trying to make you addicted to their technology because they can convert that into revenue. And that's the thing to be scared of. When they're tripping that little like, oh, this feels good. Oh, I want a new video. Haha, I like that. I want another video. I like that. They are hooking you on something that will make you spend money or generate revenue for them because of your watch hours, and you're seeing advertisements for things that they are getting money from. So just be careful. DraftKings is gamified. Yeah, exactly. Gamified gambling addiction. That's fucking crazy, you know? You've heard about the addictive personality thing? Yeah, so Simple Sins, Adam Alter's basically, he spent his career trying to disprove addictive personality or an addictive gene. and he's got a lot of research and wrote a book about why it's not a thing, but he's centered on technology as a way to prove it, because there's no chemical dependency there with like narcotics addiction or I mean, I keep saying mental disorder, but I don't know what the correct thing is. I'll just say this: risky, but I'll throw it out there. I have bipolar disorder. So when I'm talking about this as a mental disorder, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way to be rude to anyone. When you have a brain chemistry issue, that is different. And when you have a chemical dependency, that is different. But the behavioral traits between all of these things are identical. And that's the same with like a Fitbit versus like someone who has a crippling gambling addiction because they have risky behaviors from mania, or I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought, but like, yeah, it's all the same shit. I'm somewhat repeating myself here. Tony is cooking. Let's go, Tony. Chef Tony. Bright side, yeah, push notifications. So this is something that I do with my phone. Always on mute. Disable all push notifications, disable all tracking. I do that for everything. Unless I specifically need to track for like, you know, where my car is or some shit like that. Like I will enable that on a app by app basis, but generally I just leave that shit entirely off. No social media on my phone. Never. That creates really bad habits, especially with the push notifications. What are you looking at, Turning Cog, on the autumn sale? What are you interested in? Or I guess, is it winter? Are we in winter sale or autumn sale?
I think it's autumn.
Tawny Salt Bay cosplay when? I know he meant Tony, but I like that you wrote Tawny. I have Beam, dude. I did not like Beam. I don't know. But I also really like cars and racing, so it was too wacky for me. And I know it's supposed to be like very, you know, high fidelity physics sim. Just like one time in your life you hosted a Beam server? Turning Cog, I think it doesn't feel right though. Like when you're driving, it just doesn't feel right. And I know that it's because it's too realistic, maybe, but I would rather play a racing sim. I really like Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo feels amazing. It feels like what I would expect a car to feel like. You have a steering wheel and you find fun with it? I mean, if you're playing on PC, Burnt Pineapple, you should play Assetto Corsa, I think. What movie, Simple Sins? Burnt Pineapple, you need certain mods for... Oh, the movie? Okay, so my problem with Gran Turismo, the movie, is that it gets video games and cars wrong, but it's an entertaining movie. It's very wrong on how video games work, and it's very wrong on how cars work and how racing works. I did also enjoy the movie for what it's worth. I always go off a cliff at 200 miles per hour doing barrel rolls and land it with my car on fire. Yeah, I think that's like probably the most interesting way to play Beam, is like doing crazy stuff like that. You could be an F1 driver now. I don't think you can, Burnt Pineapple. I'm sorry. But they also didn't race F1 in Gran Turismo in the movie. They did GT3 and LMP. What's it called? Damn it, IMSA. That's what they did. They did IMSA racing. Endurance racing. It's definitely not the same thing. Very different things. Yeah, so the specifically F1 requires a level of physical fitness in order to drive the car. because they will pull 5 lateral Gs. So you have to strength train your neck, but you also have to strength train your arms because there's no power steering. So you can break your wrist if you're like not strong enough and you hit something, the wheel snaps the other way. Like there's all kinds of stuff in there. Yeah, physical fitness is really important for F1. If we're talking NASCAR, no, that doesn't matter. There's definitely some chubby dudes who be racing in NASCAR and stuff.
There's at least one guy out there right now that's like, "Hey, buddy, watch your mouth.
Don't you talk about NASCAR like that." Hey, I have an RCR shirt. One of my friends works for RCR. Praise hail, praise Dale. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Queen Anne. Have a good one. And have a good weekend if we don't see you. Simple Sins. Simple Sins is enjoying watching you work, Tony. He said watching your work is like watching his Asian mom cook. You blink and she throws a bunch of ingredients in that you never saw. Yeah, dude, Tony my goat. They do be driving left. Yes, they do. Fucking NASCAR. I love motorsport. I cannot watch stock car racing. It's so boring. And it's crazy boring. And I've given it a shot. I've like tried to watch some races that people were like, this is such a good race. I'm like, why? Like, you see how many passes they made? I'm like, they made passes in straightaways. There's sometimes not even 4 corners that they have to take. Sometimes there's only 3. Yeah, dude, drag racing is actually pretty dope. Drag racing was a little hard to get into too, but like, or as well, right? But going to the track was what made it awesome. The coolest part about drag racing is you see the entire race, and you know, you get the feel and like the atmosphere and all that stuff with cars, which is I love that. I like the smell and the sound and all that. I made Tony go to a drag race with me. I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Dirt track for the win? I don't know, bro. That's too close to NASCAR. Like, if you're talking circle track sprints, like, nah, that ain't it, bro. If you're doing it yourself, if you're driving, yeah, that would be really fun. I think NASCAR is kind of in the same boat. If you're driving the stock car yourself, it would probably be a blast. But, like, watching it is so fucking boring. One time I was browsing channels on the TV, I saw professional boat racing or something. Red Bull was winning. Dude, Red Bull wins a lot. Red Bull's like in a lot of motorsports. Boat racing is interesting. I don't really get it, but I'm not a boat guy. I bet if I knew more about boats, it'd be really cool. Simple Sin says, I spent my first 2 years of college in Bristol. That was rough. What was rough about it? I mean, like, I imagine like going to a race would be pretty fun. You know, just get hammered and watch some cars go in a circle, making lots of noise. Which multiplayer games do you guys like? Well, Battlefield 6. Very much looking forward to that. I definitely cooked myself on 2042.
Risk of Rain 2.
Ooh, that's a fucking good one.
Yeah. Just trying to think of like the ones we always go back to.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me look at my Steam. Hang tight there, Pineapple.
Played a little Ready or Not, yeah.
Yeah, Ready or Not's pretty cool. I think it depends on the people I'm playing with. If I'm playing with Burnout, I'm not having a fun time. He's just screaming the whole time. Tarkov is pretty cool. Like Tarkov a lot. Let's see what I've got installed here. We did a whole stream series with Abiotic Factor. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Battlefield 6 was amazing. I'm very excited for that. That's in like it's like a week and a half. It's in a week. 1 week. 8 days, something like that. I like tac shooters. Valorant, Counter-Strike. I played a ton of Counter-Strike in my day, but I just don't play Counter-Strike anymore. I haven't played Valorant in a couple of years, but I really like Valorant too. Elden Ring is technically multiplayer. I like that, but I would say it's a better single player experience. It's a mix, dude. I like too many games. I like a lot of different kinds of games. For VR multiplayer, our favorite game is Walkabout Mini Golf VR.
Yep.
That shit goes hard. Never played CS2. I mean, you could play CS2 or Valorant, and you are playing the best tech shooters that exist. So, some people could argue with Rainbow Six Siege being one of the best ones too, but that game ain't for me. Yeah, I'm familiar with Bristol Motor Speedway, Simple Sins. Yep, they definitely be taking left turns. Did you mean Red Dead Redemption? You wrote Reed Dead. Tekken hydroplane boat racing is neat, but man, always on the edge of flipping. Yeah. Turning cog, that is scary as hell to me. Boring to watch because you're just waiting for the crash like NASCAR. Yeah, see, I don't watch racing for crashes. I do not like crashes. Because like someone's about to die or like become maimed, and I just don't think that's fun or interesting. Which game have you seen but you haven't tried yet? Pineapple. Let me see. Helldivers 2 is really good.
Yeah.
I haven't played it since they made all these changes, but there's like a ton of features in that game now. Halo. Halo Infinite's a great game. That's multiplayer. People have some strong opinions about whether or not it's a good game, but I'll just tell you, Halo Infinite is a good game. No need to argue about it. Like the people who say it's a shitty game have probably played it more than anyone who says they hate it. Hyperskate, good multiplayer game. Magica is a really fun multiplayer game, but it's like kind of like a same screen co-op feel, so like you play with your homies. Let's see. Path of Exile, specifically Path of Exile 2. No Man's Sky, Risk of Rain, like Tony said. Schedule 1 was really fun. But you should not play that, Pineapple. I think you are too small of a lad to enjoy that. It's more of an adult game. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's too many to name. Kind of got to the bottom of the list. A lot of them are single player on my Steam list, and I just went with what is installed on my machine. I probably went through like 200 games. All right, I gotta have a Wii again. No Man's Sky is not the same game since I played last. All the updates since Switch crossplay really changed the game as a whole. Yeah, No Man's Sky is great. Games on my wish list: Geodash, Kinito Pet or Kirito Pet. I don't know. Kinito Pet, Car X, Peak. Peak was fun. Repo, Megabonk. You got some friend slop in there. I don't think Megabonk that's just single player, right?
I think so, yeah.
Just Shapes and Beats, TAVR. I don't know what that is. Balatro. Balatro's a good game. Complex Hollow Knight is a good game. Ultra Kill's a good game. Breachers, H3VR, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. I would say get rid of Silk Song. Just play. Hot Dogs is on there. Oh, that's that's what H3 is. Yeah. I thought it was
Hot Dogs, and you have Bone Lab. Only get Bone Lab if you already have Boneworks. You should get Boneworks otherwise.
Broken Arrow seems pretty cool. I kind of want to check that out because I like RTS. Carlson, what the fuck is Carlson?
I think it's like a FPS.
All right, I gotta be right back. All right. And then we're probably gonna wrap up when I get back. I think. Yeah. Are you in a good stopping place, Tony?
Yeah, I was gonna try to get this last wall piece in, and then we're done.
Right on. Be right back.
Yep. I think I gotta figure out a better way to do this long term, but this is gonna be okay for now and should work well. Boom. Kind of looks like one of those subdivisions that's like under construction. Haven't put the garage doors on or anything yet. I don't know about that turning cog. I don't like yapping. And I don't think Vince likes working in the editor. So, there you go. Can't see shit in here. Let's just... let's make it like... this time. Go like there.
And we're back, gamers.
Turning Cog said, when are we going to get a Tony Yap stream where Vince sweats in the editor?
There's a reason why we do it the way we do it.
That's what I said. I said, I don't like yapping, and Vince doesn't like working in the editor. So.
It's hard for me to have a conversation when I'm working in the editor. So, yeah. I mean, like, I would do work in the editor off stream.
And I'm kind of at the point where, like, I do this, like, just about every day. I don't mind doing it, but I'm not going to talk to you guys. You guys can just watch me work. I don't mind.
Yeah. I keep the conversation rolling, you know?
So.
Make it look like Tony is yapping with a voice changer. AI face swap. I mean, I don't know. Y'all are getting crazy. You guys are being silly geese. I was thinking about something when I ran upstairs. I don't remember what it was. Mostly I was thinking about how I felt bad that you were rebuilding the house from the pallet, and I wanted to build you a house that works, but you spent the stream rebuilding the fucking house.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good because.
Oh, are you just like seeding it so it auto builds houses?
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
And like, you know, the one in the pallet is stupid, and like
it has problems. Yeah.
I have like some thoughts about how to do it, and then this way I just have a little more control over like fitting them into the plots and like, you know, so on and so forth. Like turn the lights on and off, whatever. So and like this should be pretty performant the way that it is because they're all instant static meshes, and yeah. So if anything, like if you want to make more because you're like, I want it to look like this, then like you just gotta, as long as you put it together from, you know, all these like modular parts that are in there, then it's possible. But that's what I want to start doing next. Is like we have like this front door section, but like it could be this front door section, which looks a little nicer, or like, but and, you know, like they'll all kind of like fit the same footprint and stuff, and then we should start be able to vary them quite a bit from kind of just like that base idea. So.
Yeah, we can talk about it off stream, and I can build you stuff that makes more sense for the footprint you're looking for. And I definitely think that there are at least 2 houses that are going to be like a hero house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Your own
and again, those like I think we won't want to do this way. Like that'll just be a level instance or something, and it won't be a problem when there's one of them. It was just a problem when there was like 30.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know where this door is. As soon as I get this door figured out, then we can wrap this shit up.
Yeah, I want to say like early on,
it's in the wall right there.
Early on, I did some me working the editor streams, and it was just like real fucking quiet most of the time, and that I feel like it didn't work so well. We have a good rhythm now, though, you know, and I mean. The reason I say that, you know, I know you guys are here and you were chatting and whatnot. I'm not trying to tell you what you guys think, but I know that the channel does better when we do this, a lot better. So
a lot better, yeah.
Me yapping while Tony's working is the people fucking love that, and yeah. The established audience only happened when we started doing this specific format. The first like 6 months. I mean, you were here, Turning Cog. You remember? I think you came right at the tail end of Christina. But like Christina and I would talk, but she didn't know shit about games, so it just kind of like became us talking while Tony was like working on something. It was weird. So it's better now with just the 2 of us, I think. But yeah. Turning Cog, you called her Weird Hat Lady. Or True. Mean Hat Lady? Mean Hat Lady, that's what you called her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you remember that. I know you remember that. You got it figured out? You ready to
Yep.
Put a bow on this?
Yes, sir.
What did I was looking for something. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Where am I? Who is this?
Here's my my inspo houses right here that I was looking at.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's basically what we made. And then, you know, maybe we get a little one with like a bump out over here, you know.
Brightside, I think you've been here. Oh, wait. Tony, good idea. What do you guys want for the subscriber badge? Not going to say that we're going to do it, but any ideas? Because you guys got the little purple background white star thing, which is not very Fractal Grovey. I realized we just didn't do anything there. We were thinking of doing like the tree logo, like different colors. So if you think like this, that turns into this or this, you know, some shit like that might be kind of neat. Beppis negative. You're not getting a Beppis badge. That's weird. It doesn't convey the brand, badge, bro.
But only Boom gets one.
Yeah, Boom can have a Beppis badge. I don't know how we give it to Boom, but you know, we got to convey the brand. We got to use our logo and stuff. Which I was thinking about the other day, Tony. I think I want to change my phone background for the first time in like 10 years to the Fractal Grove logo.
Do it.
My current one's just played the fuck out. We'll do this.
While we're talking about Boom with the Beppis, we were talking about this gif of this little girl with this candy, like losing her shit at this sports game. I really want to edit like the Boom cat with like the bottle of Beppis into that. I feel like that would go pretty hard.
Pineapple, my real take on that is you don't need to do either thing. I know you have limited income, being a youth. So save your money for something that you really like. We definitely appreciate it, but you know, I mean, if you only got a couple bucks and you want to buy a Steam game or something, go spend it on that. You'll have more fun with that, dude. Like enjoy your youth while you got it. It always feels worse when you get older and you're like, fuck, I had so much free time when I was a kid and I just don't anymore. So, you know, partial to the blue tree. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we were thinking of doing like the one, this is just an idea. The one without a color square background as the 1 month sub or whatever. And then doing like a color for each chunk of time after that. So making it just kind of, whatever. It's somewhat arbitrary, but how long have you been sub turning cog? 7 months?
Do you get to choose ones you've unlocked, or does it just change based on how long it's been?
It's time, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. You can pick it, right? The salt one gold. Oh, last one. Sorry. Sorry, dude. The last one gold. Yeah, that's a good idea. So looking at the subs thing in the creator dashboard, give me one sec. Oh my God, I just made chat go away. Sorry, I'll be right back. Let's do this. Okay, I can read chat again. Let's go with, what the fuck was I looking at? Is it community? No. Monetization, there we go. Okay. Look at this thing. It looks like we can do base 2 month, 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 year, and 2.5 year. We unlock the next one the 29th of January next year. So that'll be 3 year. So we will have been streaming for 3 years, which is crazy. You spent your channel points on the Beppis? Nice. Oh, you put the... Guess they never miss, huh? That's not what that's from. It's the thinking hand, but yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Quick talk shit. He can't see us. I could see you. So yeah, that's good. I like gold being like the highest tier one. We'll figure it out. We'll throw some stuff in there. I think it's gonna be trees. But yeah, y'all have a good weekend. Everybody stay safe. Have fun, but not too much fun. And obviously, Brightside, I understand you're doing. You're pretty worn out. You've done a lot of stuff this week. So if you're not doing the beat off this tonight, this evening, totally cool, man. Like, do your thing. But yeah, Brightside remembers the hat lady. I feel like Brightside, Turning Cog, and Boom were like our first regulars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Yep.
Anyway, we love you guys. You guys are great. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If Brightside's doing the thing tonight, go check him out. It's a really fun time. Yeah, I think that's all for us. We will catch you guys later.
Peace.